Hey, all you beautiful people. I see you out here. How are everybody? How are you? My apologies. I was running a little late. I hope everybody's still here. Thanks for coming in. I am a politic junkie. Shut up, Nightish. What's up? Hey, Bougie Lotus. Welcome, welcome. I do hope that we can have a good discussion. I hope we can talk about the candidates. I'm gonna be going over it, reviewing it through other people's things. So shout out to them. They ain't trying to copy strike a sister. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about these debates. I want to talk about these candidates. Um, this shit is gonna affect us down the road, and we need to wake up to it. I know that. Thank you, Bougie. I apologize. Like I said, I'm sorry I was late, but I did want to talk about this, so we gonna just jump right in it. I ain't gonna make nobody wait. Let me get over here and share my screen. We're going to talk about. Excuse me. Um. Oh, excuse me. For real. Awesome. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all being in here. We're gonna jump right in it. I apologize. My throat. It was like. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna pull this up. We're gonna stream. We're gonna talk. Hit the link if you so like it. Um, I don't care if this gets hot. I don't care if you a Democrat, Republican, whatever. This we are all still black, and what has the government done for us in any capacity over the last 10 years? Let's just be honest. Um, and I think that the the push for black men to vote more this upcoming election is definitely going to be a part of my agenda, because we have to work within this system, whether it's fucked up or not. We have to work within this system. Excuse my language. Um, I get even more passionate about politics when I know how it affects our community, and it's disgusting the things that have continued to go on, and us pretending as though it doesn't affect us anyway. It does all day. It affects us every single day. I'm not sure. I thought CNN was doing it over. Oh wait, hold on. What? Not a troll. Okay, okay, okay. I just want to make sure, but we're gonna get into it. It's already recorded. I don't want to wait. If they're showing the other one, like they're showing how do I put that? I watched it on someone else's show. Okay. Shout out shout out to David. The David Packman show. I do follow him. He's very thorough. But we're gonna keep it gangster. We're going right into the debate. Let's go. Cause I think they did like a pre-show and all of this stuff. I ain't on that. Okay, here we go. And two, we have two black candidates, which are um, Tim Scott and Larry Elder. So I kind of want to talk about him and Vivek. Vivek is East Indian, I believe, and we're gonna do this. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I know y'all can't hear it yet. Just hang on with me. Let me see. I forgot to. I like him because he gives you. He's gonna fact check as we go, and I like that in real time. So let me go on and share my screen with you guys. Bear with me. I really appreciate y'all coming for real. Let me share the screen. Yeah, I know what to do. All right, here we go. Okay. So let me add this to the screen so we can kind of see what's happening here. Let me view this here. I'm gonna bring it. All right, cool. We over here. I got my StreamYard over here. I really have to get a larger screen. I really got to work on that. But right now, I'm just trying to get this land, child. Okay. So let's go, because I'm gonna go pick pieces out. We're gonna talk about some stuff.
But I want more attention on his attitude towards no excuse for failure tonight. Yeah, listen, after all of Chris Christie's declarations about how great he'll do and how he's going to crush everybody,
so I don't know who's familiar with who.
Despite him bailing.
We can definitely have a fair use. Let me throw that up there real quick. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Let me throw up my fair use joint. Oh, let me make one first of all. Fair use. Fair use. Like, I'm sorry, that's ugly. Hey, lovely people. If you find it interesting, if you like my content, if you want to donate, if you want to become a part of Chocolate Earth in any form, subscribe, like, comment, and if you feel so inclined, please hit the Cash App. A sister trying to get this land paid off before the end of August, so we can get popping. Anyone who has donated to me is going to be a part of a group of people that I also be offering other like monetary value opportunity. No bull. Here we go. So let's put it in there. And we're gonna get it going. If you agree with me, if you don't, cool. I just would like to have the conversation and it be of value to everybody. That's my whole goal. Yeah, girl. Yeah, he on the ballot. Well, I mean, think about it. The goal is here at this point. They like, please, I hope you don't go to jail. Like, that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. He is trying to put himself back in office because that's the only way that he will not go to jail. And that's it. Is to be president of the United States. So, all right, we're going to get into it. Again, shout out to the David Pakman Show. Thank you. Please don't copy strike me, please. I appreciate that.
Of the start of the 2024 campaign.
All right. So
this is really an incredible moment. It will now be a marathon, 15 months, 14 and a half months until we have the next president of the United States. And I'm so glad to have you with us. We will be here for the entirety of the debate unless Fox News shuts me down, which they may do. Super chats continue to come in. Danny says, I've got a job interview tomorrow. The code is Tetra.
Okay,
debate starts in 20 seconds.
Okay, let's get in here.
Presidential campaign live at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee.
8 Republican candidates have qualified and have chosen to be here on our debate stage tonight. They are here to lay out their vision for America, the battle as they battle for the GOP nomination. Good evening, everybody. I'm Martha MacCallum.
And I'm Bret Baier. This is the very same stage on which the Republican choice for president will accept the party's nomination next summer. The 8 contenders are positioned by the order they sit in the polls, with the highest polling candidates in the middle standing center stage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Look at that smile. Charisma.
Boo.
Ramaswamy.
I don't know him well
Former Vice
enough.
President Mike Pence.
Boo.
Former South Carolina Governor Nikki
Yes, I'm
Haley.
biased.
I'm cringing, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
me
cringing.
too. I have to
Governor
do
Chris
stuff.
Christie.
South Carolina Senator Tim Scott.
Former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson.
And North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Big shout out for Burgum.
Some
Okay.
ground rules for tonight. We'll ask the questions,
Ain't
and
nobody
then
better than you
candidates
like
get
that.
1 minute to answer. If someone is singled out, you get 30 seconds to respond. And when the time runs out, we all will hear this. Very pleasant.
So tonight, these candidates have a big opportunity to break out of the pack and to explain why they are best prepared to be the Republican choice for president. At a time when the
You can
likely
throw 'em all
Democrat
in the
nominee,
trash.
President Joe Biden, is working to convince the country that with Bidenomics, things are looking up.
We call my plan Bidenomics. I'm not sure they meant it in a totally complimentary way at the time. But guess what? It's working.
But is it? More
Tell
than
'em, Joe
65% of Americans say the country is headed in the wrong direction. And here's the reality for some voters we talked to here in Wisconsin this week.
We have noticed a dramatic increase in prices at the grocery store just across the board.
Gas is high and food is high. A lot of people's out here homeless because they can't buy food.
It's tough when you got mortgage rates at 7-8% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford the house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
As we sit here tonight,
Okay, I have to say this. First off, it's bullshit. There would not have been inflation. See, I'm gonna be fact checking too. Would not have been inflation if the things that the former administration had not done already. It's just like when Obama got in office. He was cleaning up Bush's mess. You know what I'm saying? So if they're trying to use the old adage of, oh, well, you know, it's Biden's fault that we have inflation, and that's not true. It's not true at all. And this is factually backed up. Yes. So it is so much confusion, and that's why, Lotus, I wanted to do this, because I think it needs to be broken down to the fact that let's hear if any of these candidates are truly out to do what needs to be done for the people, or are they just doing exactly what they've been doing for centuries, which is running their mouth, saying the talking points, and moving on. So let's keep it going.
the number one song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North of Richmond.
Oh, God.
It is by a singer from Farmville, Virginia, named
Farmville.
Oliver Anthony.
No.
His lyrics speak of alienation,
Oh, okay.
of deep frustration with the state of government and of this country. Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
The song's toxic. Hey, I want to thank everybody coming in from the Brian Tyler Cohen stream. I don't know what's going on. He texted me, I'm sending my audience to you. And what does anybody know what on earth happened? I don't know. This is, by the way, it's crazy that now the debate is a musical thing. It's crazy. Welcome, everybody. Everybody's welcome here, okay?
So, Governor DeSantis, why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means?
Our country is in decline. This decline is not inevitable. It's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline. And it starts with understanding we must reverse Bidenomics so that middle-class families have a chance to succeed again. We cannot succeed
There
as
is
a
no
country.
middle-class
If
family.
you are working hard and
Are
you
you
can't
talking
afford
crazy?
groceries, a car, or a new home, while Hunter Biden can make hundreds of thousands
Oh,
of
come
dollars
on,
on
yo.
lousy paintings. That is wrong. We also cannot succeed when the Congress spends trillions and trillions of dollars. Those rich men north of Richmond have put us in this situation. And finally, we need to lower your gas prices. We're going to open up all energy production. We will be energy dominant again in this country. I showed it could be done in the state of Florida. I pledge to you as your president, we will get the job done, and I will not let you down.
Child, stop.
Governor DeSantis.
Child,
I guess his makeup was yell.
no, stop it. Ron DeSantis, don't nobody even like him. Like, for real. Like, even on, like, kids, puppies, nobody likes him. It's weird. He's a very strange man. And from what I hear in Florida, child, listen, if that's what people want to do, fine. Like I said, we have to stop being afraid of this conversation, which is politics. We have to talk about them. They rule what we do in this country. We are connected to these people regardless, whether they're your governor, whether they're a senator, whether whatever. They make decisions for us that we have no say-so in. And if we don't start having a say-so, it's going to continue to get this way. So let me go ahead, Ian.
That'll make you seem charismatic.
Would you be better on the economy than him?
Well, look, I do agree predominantly with what Governor DeSantis just laid out. I think that if you asked every one of us up here, that we would agree predominantly with what he just laid out. Here's the difference. The difference is that we're going to have to work and make sure that we sell these ideas and be able to put ourselves in a position where we get a majority of the vote, not only by winning the Congress and the Senate in 24, but also by having someone who's had the experience of doing it. Now, I was elected as a conservative Republican in a blue state with 61% of the vote, with a Democratic legislature against me the entire time. And we still, through hard, strong decision-making, brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad Democratic ideas, we stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children and their grandchildren. It's robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey, when you were governor, had the second lowest.
Yeah, Christie's sounding a little bit weak, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Downgraded 11 times.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic gubernatorial predecessors of mine who ran up that debt tremendously. And what you also saw us do was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor.
I missed that. Make sure you were subscribed.
Well, because I think Cory Booker knows that, one, he's better in the seat of senator. You know, light-skinned black men don't fare too well in our country. Obama was too, you know, he was mixed. Cory, I think I don't, again, Lotus, to your point, if Cory Booker was running for office, this is when we can hijack the black vote, right? We can take advantage of it. We can change those particular things. It's enough of us, plus those who believe in a better country. We can kill it just like we did with Donald Trump. We can change. You can see how the change. Child, Cory Booker wasn't running. He wasn't running. No. I like him, but he was not running. These are people, let's be real.
To the YouTube channel.
Let me see. Did I hit it? Did I miss the break? No. Okay, here we go. I was tripping. I hit something. It took me too far back. Come on, yo. Here we go, yo.
Against me the entire time. And we still, through hard, strong decision-making, brought them around to our point of view. We cut taxes in New Jersey. We cut debt in New Jersey. We made sure that each and every time we were confronted with bad democratic ideas, we stood and stopped them. And when there were good ideas, we brought people together to make progress going forward. Truth and accountability are the things we need to do to fight waste. And I'd say the last thing is this, Brett. We cannot sit by any longer and allow the kind of spending that's going on in Washington, because every dollar they spend is a dollar that these people are not allowed to spend on their children and their grandchildren. It's robbing our country, and it's wrong.
Well, Governor, let me just follow up very quickly. New Jersey, when you were governor, had the second lowest.
Yeah, Christie's sounding a little bit weak, guys. I'm not going to lie.
Downgraded 11 times.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what happens when you inherit a blue state that has done that. But when you look at what we did on debt, Brett, in that state, we cut debt in that state, debt that had been left to us by 3 Democratic gubernatorial predecessors of mine who ran up that debt tremendously. And what you also saw us do was to cut the unemployment rate in half. It was over 10% when I became governor in 2010. What we also did was cut pension payments to public employees to make sure that taxpayers were not being soaked by a public employee union system that was killing the taxpayer.
Thank you, Governor.
Governor Scott, Tim Scott, Senator Scott,
I don't know,
excuse
guys.
me. The song also goes after welfare programs. As a senator,
Oh, really?
now President Biden
Hold on.
argued for
Wait,
freezing
wait.
federal spending. This was back in the 80s.
Wait. So they gonna ask the one black dude on there about the welfare question? Come on, everybody. Am I the only one that's seeing this retardedness? Come on. Are we alone? What is happening? What's happening? What's happening? Here we go, Tim Scott. Answer the welfare queen question, please, sir. From the 1980s. When you got the whole state of West Virginia practically on subsidized assistance. But you know, it's the black people. It's always us, right? It's always the black people. All right, here we go. Right.
And dealing with sacred cows. He does not talk about that anymore. You have been a senator, though, for 10 years. So what have you done to rein in the increasing size of government?
Well, thank you for the question. Over the last several years, I've had an opportunity to vote against spending package after spending package after spending package. What we also need to understand is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics has led to the loss of $10,000 of spending power for the average family. When you see 16% inflation, your gas is up 40%.
Real quick, every candidate so far attacking Biden, but that's not a justification for voting.
Right, exactly. You go, it's like this. I'm not going to get on here and keep attacking people, but I'm not doing shit about it, right? I'm just going to keep talking shit. And that's what we see a lot of, right? Like people just talking and not wanting to do anything. And those of us who do want to do something, it is a problem because they like, well, why you care? If I don't care, why do you care? We're going to talk about Tim Scott. I'm going to take a break in a minute once we get to the first commercial break and go into his situation. We're going to find out about these candidates.
Voting for you over the other 7 people on the stage.
Sending the money back to the states and allowing the decisions to be made at their own houses. I helped write the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017. We cut taxes for a single mom like the one that raised me by 70%, for dual households by 60%, returning to the average family $4,000. If you don't send it to Washington, we can't spend it. That's good news for the American people.
Okay, but just to follow up, you did, during the Trump administration, you approved 4.4 trillion, 4.1 trillion, 1.7 trillion over the course of that administration. That's a lot of money.
There's no doubt that during the Trump administration, when we were dealing with the COVID virus, we spent more money. But here's what happened at the end of our time in the majority. We had low unemployment, record low unemployment, 3.5% for the majority of the population, 70-year low for women. African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians had an all-time low.
I see
but
my
our
little afro.
inflation was at
Looking
2%.
real tight.
Under Joe Biden, we've seen the exact opposite. We've seen inflation
That's a lie.
explode, which led to 12 Federal Reserve increases that's devastating home buyers today.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you're listening to these answers.
If I may,
No, hold
that
on one
was our
second. We're going
administration, so I don't know if I get a chance to respond.
He didn't mention you specifically, but we'll be with you in a second, Mr. Vice President.
We'll be
Mr.
with you in a
Ramaswamy,
moment, please. Take a number.
listening
Right.
to all of this, why should
Wow.
voters choose you
We'll talk to
over
Vivek
more
first.
experienced politicians on this stage? You're basically, a blank slate for people. You're 38 years old. You've said that you only voted in 2 presidential elections before this moment, this political race.
So first, let me just address a question that is on everybody's mind at home tonight. Who the heck is this skinny guy with a funny last name, and what the heck is he doing in the middle of this debate stage? I'll tell you, I'm not a politician, Brett. You're right about that.
Yes, you
I'm an
are.
entrepreneur.
I
My
hate
parents
when
came
people
to this
say
country
that.
with no money 40 years ago.
How did that work
I
out?
have
with
gone
Trump?
on to found multi-billion-dollar companies. I did it while marrying my wife, Apurva, raising our 2 sons, following our faith in God. That is the American dream. And I am genuinely worried that that American dream will
I'ma
not
tell you,
exist
Boogie,
for
Nikki
our 2
Haley
sons
scares me.
and their generation
She
unless
make
we
me
do
nervous.
something about it. And I do think Brett is going to take an outsider, because for a long time we have professional politicians in the Republican Party
Donald
who
Trump
have been
say
running
that?
from something. Now is our moment to start running to something, to our vision of what it means to be an American today.
Yes,
If you
child.
have a broken
They
car,
age
you don't
shaming.
turn
You
over
gonna
the
hear it
keys to the
again,
people who
Lotus.
broke it again. You hand it over to a new generation to actually fix the problem. That's why I'm in this race, and we're just getting warmed up.
We tried outsider business
So
dude in
why are you
2016.
better positioned to turn around this economy that we've heard all of these voters talking about tonight than Mr. Ramaswamy, who is a successful entrepreneur nationally right now? He's beating you in the polls.
Well, I don't care about polls. What I care about the fact is that no one is telling the American people the truth. The truth is that Biden didn't do this to us. Our Republicans did this to us too.
Okay.
When they passed that
Okay.
$2.2 trillion
Come
COVID
on,
stimulus
Nikki.
bill,
Okay.
they left us with 90 million people on Medicaid, 42 million people on food stamps. No one has told you how to fix it. I'll tell you how to fix it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the borrowing. They need to eliminate the earmarks that the Republicans brought back in. And they need to make sure they understand these are taxpayer dollars. It's not their dollars. And while they're all saying this, you have Ron DeSantis, you've got Tim Scott, you've got Mike Pence. They all voted to raise the debt.
Here we go.
And Donald
Yeah,
Trump
come
added
on,
$8
Nikki.
trillion to our debt. And
Now
our
we're
kids are
talking.
never going to forgive us for this. And so
Now
at
we're
the end of the
talking.
day, you
Come
look
on,
at the
Nikki,
2024
okay.
budget. Republicans asked for $7.4 billion in earmarks. Democrats asked for $2.8 billion. So you tell me who are the big spenders. I think it's time for an accountant in the White House.
Vice
Wow.
President
Come on.
Pence,
Wow. Okay, Bougie.
you were mentioned that.
I see why you said it. Okay.
54% of voters say the cost of groceries is a, quote, major
But
problem
you know they ain't
for
ready
them.
for no woman. to
You
be
blame the
president
Biden
now.
administration
You know that,
spending
right?
for that increase.
We'd have to
but
come
as
out
vice
in droves,
president,
like every
your
woman
administration
would have
spent
to
more than any prior,
vote.
$7.8 trillion added to the national debt, $3.5 trillion of that before COVID. So does that mean that you're part of the spending problem?
Well, first off, thanks for the question. Thanks for letting me respond to
Ooh, he's
reference to
scary.
our administration's record. I'm incredibly proud of the record of the
Yes, I'm cracking. Yeah, but she telling the truth. Now I don't agree with her other agendas, but yes, hey, broke clock can be right twice a day. Okay, so I'm gonna give her props on that one. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know if I'd vote for her though. I don't know. I have no idea what this is gonna look like, and that's why for me, if somebody was to ask me, hold on real quick, because I think is it too tight? It looked like my hair too tight, but anyway, so I look like I stretched my head. Anyway, how I feel about it is we have to start now paying attention to what is going on and what is getting ready to come down the pike. Like for real, our jobs, our careers, our children, our education, the elderly, they want to cut Social Security. They want to cut Medicare. They want to cut Medicaid. They want to use these as personal penny banks when they damn well know for sure that this money sits there because it's off of your tax dollars. They give these corporations these tax breaks as a federal government, and then they get tax breaks when they build in a particular state. Then they get tax breaks when they're in a particular city. These corporations are not paying their fair share, but yet and still we go every day and work for these people and help them gain their wealth. This is why I'm saying it's necessary for us to have our own communities. Because if we don't have any communities, then we can't hold our vote hostage. We got to go along with whatever else is happening. And we've done that for way too long. Let's keep it pushing. Let me put some earrings on because it do look like my head is so small. Okay, hold on.
The Trump-Pence administration. I mean, in 4 short years, we rebuilt our military. We revived our economy. We unleashed American energy. And we appointed 3 conservatives to the Supreme Court that gave the American people a new beginning for the right to life. Now, Martha, you asked earlier, who's the most best prepared for this job? And I must say, with all due respect,
I have to say this with my whole chest. You good, babe? I gotta say this with my whole chest. Yes, you did put those conservatives in office to not only reverse Roe versus Wade, but also affirmative action. But you can't do what needs to be done about these manufacturers, these people who make things that will take our children out in a matter of seconds. That one time during this debate, I am going to just say, if you didn't see it, I'm not going to blow the whistle, but I will say this. Where is pow control? When are we going to have that? When are we going to have universal cops? We need those type of systems. And we have a guest. Let me add them to the stream. Hello, sir, and welcome.
Hey, what's up, sis?
What's up? Me being rowdy about politics.
Well, no, it needs to be a discussion that we have, because these are people that are put in place that don't speak to our needs. They don't speak to anything that we are doing in our community, and they want us to vote for them. But how am I going to vote for somebody who's not addressing the things that are affecting me and my community? You know what I mean? And I think that's why, we have to start really holding them accountable. Just like, we hold all these people on social media and YouTube and Instagram and all these celebrities accountable and all these athletes accountable. People that ain't going to affect us. We want to hold them accountable. But the people that directly impact you and affect you, you don't want to hold them accountable. We have the game twisted and we have it backwards. You know what I mean? So the thing is that we have to hold these people accountable. They affect the things that are going on a regular basis.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we have to really, really address that. Mm-hmm. If not, then what's going to happen? That they're going to continue to do, the same things that they've been doing.
Right, and it's going to get worse because at every given moment, it's always us at the bottom having to clean up everybody else's mess, or we just got to take it. And then we're still our wage gaps, our health gaps, our education gaps, our corporation ownership, our ability to will and deal within the system is still very small. And that's the scary part for me. And before you came up, what I am intending on doing with my YouTube channel as we get ready to go to closer to the end of the year is I want Black men to vote. I want them to come out and vote. I need sisters and brothers to come out and vote and pay attention and find out who is going to be running this country in 2024. I'm not just talking about the president. I'm talking about your governors. I'm talking about the senators. I'm talking about the House reps. It is time to open your eyes and open your mouth. We take for granted that people actually lost. Could you imagine? And I'm going to ask you this, Mr. Bass. Could you imagine right now having to go vote and somebody want to take your life?
And that's the oppression that we used to face. But the thing is that we got a little bit of civil rights, you know what I mean? Not even equal rights, but civil rights. And now we believe that we no longer have to be in tune and we no longer have to be informed. And the thing is, we need to be informed and in tune more than ever.
That,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, it was a time in this nation where we politically and socially were on top of what we need to be on top of.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Whether it was brothers like Marcus Garvey, whether it was brothers like you know what I mean, like Medgar Evers, whether it was brothers, you know, whether it's sisters like Barbara Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And salute to Barbara Jordan, you know what I mean, and Mary McLeod Bethune for being, you know what I mean, strong sisters in political and social movements. And we understood what was at hand. And and those sisters, you know what I mean, just to bring them up, they got a lot of legislation passed so that we can actually, you know what I mean, have equal pay and have different things that, you know, working our benefit. You know what I mean? So these are things that they don't want to point out, or that they don't want to, you know, make vocal, but they're very important. You know what I mean? They're very important indeed. And people don't understand, without these things being passed, without this legislation going down, there is no society that we have today. You know what I mean? You being able to shop anywhere and go anywhere and be in any community, all that would disappear completely.
If they wanted to go away, they wanted to go away. Just like I said, you've got states across the country who are trying to lower their labor laws because you know who they already know is going to be working in these menial jobs. Children. This is the same country that did this in the 20s and the 30s. This is the same country that allowed their children to work because they didn't want to pay adults a living wage. So you'd have to send your baby for pennies to work. And they was working around radium. They were working around coal. They were working around chemicals that were not being taken care of, and all of the diseases and different things that we got that swim around this place. It is because of these things. They don't see us as equal. They still don't. It's 2023. Let me keep it going. Because listen, I'm on one tonight.
Yeah, keep doing your thing. I'm here.
Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm gonna stop, and I want to talk about it in the chat. Please feel free. Long as you don't disrespect anybody, I'm all for it. The discussion. Also, as well, Bougie, you have complete autonomy because I'm gonna be looking at the thing. So if you see anything you don't like, get it pushing. All right, let's go. And here we go.
To all of my friends on the stage, and even to one that's probably looking on, I think unquestionably I am the best prepared, the most tested, the most qualified and proven conservative in this race. I was a leader in the Congress of the United States. I led Indiana where we balanced budgets and had a AAA bond rating when I was governor. And as vice president of the United States, we spent funding to backfill on the military cuts of the Obama administration, and then we were pandemic in 100 years. All that being said, I was the first person in this race to say that we've got to deal with the long-term national debt issues. You got people on this stage that won't even talk about issues like Social Security and Medicare. I mean, Vivek, you recently said a president can't do everything. Well, I got news for you, Vivek. I've been in the hallway. I've been in the West Wing. A president of the United States has to confront every crisis facing America. I will put our nation back on the path to growth and prosperity and restore fiscal responsibility, just as I did in Congress and as governor.
I'm sorry, this man is a weak weasel. That's all I'm going to say. This man is a weak. These are the kind of men that scare me. These are the kind of men that have been in history who have pretended as though they've done so much, knowing that they were the cause of these issues. They were a part of the problem, but yet and still they want to pretend as though they're doing something. You better get out of here.
Mr. Vice President.
And when I was vice president.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
hold on.
You were named earlier. I'm going to get Vivek first.
We'll get to both of them. Yeah, this isn't that complicated, guys. Unlock American energy. drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Put people back to work by no longer paying them more to stay at home. Reform the U.S. Fed, stabilize the U.S. dollar, and go to war. The only war that I will declare as U.S. president will be the war on the federal administrative state that is the source of those toxic regulations acting like a wet blanket on the economy. So I'm not sure I exactly understood Mike Pence's comment, but I'll let you all parse that out. For me, it's pretty simple. That's something a U.S. president can do with focus, and I'll deliver on it.
Well, let me explain it to you. Let me explain it
Wait,
to
hold
you.
on. Pause.
Let's go.
I don't know who that brother was that just spoke, but who is that?
Okay, so his name is Vivek.
I like him.
Okay, okay. If you like him, all right. I ain't got nothing to say as far as that.
I like his presentation. Give me some more. Give me some meat and potatoes, sister. Let me know who he really is, because I don't know.
Let me give it to you. This is a gentleman who is just painted brown, sir. He's just painted brown. His ideals, as we get deeper into it, and just to give you a little background, yes, his family came here. They made a living. He's 38 years old. Because I think Bill Clinton was close to that. He was in his 30s. He was the youngest president. I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't want to give you too much, because I want you to hear what else he has to say. Because again, I've been following these people now for a year. And so it's like, okay, right? Trying not to be biased. But to me, I think he's full of hot air. One, you cannot replace coal. The jobs are still dangerous. If we're going to do anything, we know that coal workers, number one, have the biggest issues with tuberculosis, bronchitis. They usually pass sooner, so on and so on, because of the effects of it. Donald Trump promised the same thing in 2016. And he promised it again in 2020. He did not bring coal jobs back. And they keep talking about opening up the energy and quit buying it from Saudi Arabia. That's why gas is so high. That's why when we had the academic, it dropped. Oil was worthless. It was sitting in boats in the ocean. This is why food backed up. So I am a little surprised, being that the fact that he was there and involved, that you would even say, oh, we need to do this with energy. We need to do this with coal. It doesn't make sense, because one is causing people to be sick, and the other one would give us the ability to actually have good air, so to speak, or and the fact that they could educate people on the new green way of life. Other countries are doing it. It is because we have too much money tied up into overseas oil, and we're gonna keep it going. That we're gonna keep it going.
Okay.
Because like I said, yeah, exactly. Yes. So Nightish also, please, by all means, y'all can hit the link. It's pinned at the top. If you got something to say, bring it up, bring it in. I'm all for it. Let's go.
Mispronouncing his
I'll
name.
go slower this time.
I sometimes struggle with the reading
Look,
comprehension.
I was a House conservative leader before it was cool. I actually pushed a Deficit Reduction Act. That was the last time we actually reduced the national debt in the United States, when I was the leader of House conservatives. I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience.
Is that ageism I hear? What? Are you saying that because it's Brother Brown, or because he's young? I think it's both. I think we see Pence's, he being, okay, man, he got the cats out. He got the claws tonight. Let's go.
It's 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay? And you are up, Governor DeSantis.
So here's the thing. Why are we in this mess? Part of it, and a major reason, is because how this federal government handed COVID-19 by locking down this economy. It was a mistake. It should have never happened. And in Florida, we led the country out of lockdown. We kept our state free and open. And I can tell you this, as your president, I will never let the deep state bureaucrats lock you down. You don't take somebody like Fauci and coddle him.
Oh,
you
God.
bring Fauci in.
What's this got to do with now? Can somebody tell me what's this got to do with it now? The C-19 has not stopped taking people's lives. And I'm gonna say this here for anybody that will, that way you understand my reasoning for how I feel. We were in Arizona when it popped off. Because Donald Trump did not close this country down soon enough or contained it when he had the opportunity, people lost their friends, their mothers, their sisters, their cousins, and on and on. And we're talking about young and old. And I lost my mom. So it's a real sensitive area for me because that's bullshit. Florida, this is why a lot of the trucking jobs, you got a lot of folks that lost their lives. You got a lot of old people that live in Florida that lost their life. And they pretend as though none of this is taking place. So when they
Sis, can I speak to that?
Yeah,
Can I speak to that real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And number one, I send my condolences for your loss, definitely.
Oh, thank you.
And people don't understand this. If you live in Florida, Florida is abnormally warm most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, throughout the winter months where other states may hit below 70, a lot of places in Florida are over 70 or even 80 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the virus doesn't do well in the heat. So Florida is able not to lock down based on the fact that they're near Caribbean waters and that they get Caribbean weather most times of the year. You know what I mean? Florida is mostly a tropical state, which is why most people who are older go there and retire. You know what I mean? The weather's always nice.
Yeah, just like here in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I
for the
agree
most
with that
part.
part. For the most part, yeah. My issue was and still is, you knew that it was viral. Not only did he not shut down, but he discarded and disregarded the mask mandate. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that was 100% safe as far as wearing masks, but I will say that if I had to choose to go outside and not catch something that's going to take me out, I'm going to do what's a piece of cloth. And then it became a war. And then it became sensationalized. And then it was all over the television that you got people all over the country fighting something that don't even make sense. Now, you fight for somebody telling you to put a mask on, but you won't fight for these lobbyists to stop doing what they're doing. And see, though, that's what gets me about how fickle we can be, even in our own community. Because believe me, I heard it in our community too. Well, that's not going to do nothing to you. Or I didn't catch it because I ate whatever. It's funny. And again, it's always, you forget about the elderly. We lost some of our babies. We lost a lot of young people. We lost a lot of people in our community. Everybody did across the board. And they still want to utilize that as, oh, well, we shouldn't have shut this country down. Donald Trump shut it down. It wasn't Joe Biden. It was not Joe Biden. It was Donald Trump. And the only reason he did it because it was so far gone. And it was after it had ravaged different states across the country. And it's just like, come on. We got to fight about this when still inequality is at the number one of what is going on in our country. the fact that we still don't have affordable places to live, the fact that food is still expensive. It was expensive before. But they want to make everybody believe that, oh, because now Biden in office, oh God, everything done changed. No, there were homeless before, high gas prices before. They raise gas prices here in this country every summer. So it's this hypocrisy that bothers me when people have these conversations. And not to what you said, Mr. Best, I'm saying where my perspective comes from. Is it a little bit of, yeah, I don't agree? Yes, but it is also the facts that have been taking place. What's Dr. Fauci got to do with it? This man had to stop doing what he's doing because he was being, and his family was getting so many death threats that this man had to put his family in hiding. Over what? But it's okay though. Somebody can have an AK and blow a school up. But hey, Fauci is the terrorist. You know what I mean? And that
well, the problem is that it's not just Fauci that's the problem. It's the fact that a lot of times when we're looking for the media or people who within the media or people who are working with media or even governing or social bodies, a lot of times they're not giving us accurate information.
No, you're right. I agree.
You know what I
with you
mean?
on that one.
And that's the problem. So people definitely want to listen to somebody who has the expertise to help us, but only if they're here to help us. But if they're not here to help us and they're here to create more confusion and it's going to create us being more divisive or not really getting the real results, then yeah, people are going to question what's being said because people's lives are at risk. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. And you should question. But a fact is a fact is a fact. This was taking people out. You know what I mean? And it's like, just like we talked about the Spanish flu, we compared everything, tuberculosis, all of them is from human contact, right? It is from human contact. Can we stop pretending like we don't have minds of our own? And to your point, you should question. When I took journalism, you need 3 sources. That's also in Islam. You need 3 witnesses before you accuse somebody. But we don't do that. We go straight to it. We go straight to the throat, but don't want to pay attention to what's around us. And this is why I say it, and I'll say it again earlier. My goal will be, as we get closer to the end of this year, to get you in those voting booths. Whether you agree with me or not, vote for your kids. Because when you ain't here, this is going to still be here until it all just disappears or whatever we think is going to happen. But right now we're in this. So let's learn how to navigate within this. It was Lotus who said earlier, she was like talking about Cory Booker. And I said, unfortunately, Cory Booker is not president material. He is better suited where he is as a senator, one of the few Black senators that we have. Because see, that's the issue. When you decide, oh, I'm running for office, you lose your seat. Now that's somebody else that could come in and take it. And they sit up and they lie and they tell us that they don't want to do this and they don't want to do that. It is a lie. They want to make sure that money and that wealth stays the same. It's all bloviation. It's all filibustering. It has nothing to do with tangible evidence. But we'll keep it pushing. Well,
why don't we pick candidates that speak to what we need?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So exactly. if the candidates here are not credible and we don't like them, why don't we as the people, just like we did with Obama, right? Obama kind of really wasn't in the mix. The people made him in the mix, right?
Right.
So if we the people wanted somebody in the mix, or we want somebody in our neighborhood or somebody that we know that kind of is in the politics and they kind of know the law and everything else, and we believe in them and they get a bigger following, why not push that person? You know what I'm saying? I think those are the measures that we have to take, and then maybe we could find somebody who's not aligned with any of the political powers to run for a governing body and actually win. So
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. It is what has happened is that when we think of politicians, it's always a negative, right? You cannot, unless you can read somebody's mind or you are able to have some bomb, you know what I mean? You discernment. You don't know who these people are until they do what they do. And that's it. You take a risk. And in all honesty, this is the year. If we were going to ever take our vote and our voting power hostage, it would be now. This is the time to do it. This is why I say it's necessary to build communities. Because if we have communities, it equals political power. Because then we are a force. Then they coming to us, asking us what we want so they can get that piece. Remember, our black dollar is worth $900 billion in this country. And we have a guest. Let's bring him up. Hello, Simon. How are you? Welcome. What say you, sir?
Simon, what's good, man?
What's going on? It's real. You're having a real good conversation. There's a couple of things though.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to take into account is we always partition ourselves, which means we say we're worth this, but don't equate it to the bigger picture. So there's like a pie and it's like 100%. And then we're going, okay, we're like, 7% of this pie, and that makes us relevant. It doesn't make us relevant. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. And when you start interacting with these people, especially when you're trying to, talk about corporate, westernized civilizations, they built that stuff up from a long time ago. So you're not just dealing with your backyard, which most people tend to relate to, because that's just how it is. Okay. we're not taught this stuff in school. We're not taught to analyze and understand the greater picture. So if you're trying to do something, and I guess I had this conversation with you before, Chocolate, that means something greater than other people understand, it needs to be on a global scale. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to apply it globally. It means you're trying to apply something in your backyard, and you start there, but you need global support because, financially, in knowledge terms, in terms of just general support, it's not that it can't be done, but you need the right people to back you. And the only reason I know this, and the only reason I understand it, and the only reason I'm saying it to you is because I applied it in my previous music career. I had backers that were just like from all over the damn place. They didn't necessarily have an interest, in my total vision, but it was just like, they had an interest right there and then. Like I have an interest in what you're doing right now. So, it is what it is. I wouldn't really necessarily pay attention to politicians because, their whole general game is just to, get the public to misunderstand everything they're saying. And you know this, and play by play, like, it's gone on for years. And we know this now. It's like, it's not a new thing. Like they dress out smart. They do. I could do that. You could do that. I can do that.
I'll say this, and I do disagree with what you just said completely, because again, music and politics are different animals, right? When we look at it, and to either man as well, broke people did change a lot. Okay, there have been plenty of broke folks across this country, in this history of this country, that changed a lot for what we now benefit from. So it has to start somewhere. And if it starts in my backyard, then that's okay. And then it goes next step. I don't mind starting small. That's not what I'm saying. The small thing is utilize your vote for what it is. Take it hostage. Find out who's running in your state, city, and county. But again, if you're worried about how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to pay these bills, how much gas is, you have no time for it. So it is done on purpose to keep you distracted. All of this stuff about, the trans community, all of this stuff about that there's a gender war, all of this stuff about having enough babies and getting married and a nucleus family, those are distractions because you can't have any of that if you don't have a community behind it. And we don't, not in this country. We don't have strong Black communities across the country. We did at one time, but we don't. And it's almost like we have dropped the ball on it because we're like, well, nobody else is doing this, so I'm not going to do it. And politicians do need to be paid attention to. And the reason I say that is because if you're not doing what I asked you to do, I'm going to vote your ass out. Because no matter how much money you have, as we saw in a few elections, even now, I'll give you one in Ohio. Ohio thought they was going to be slick with their legislation. Come in, change a law, and they lost. And these weren't rich people who made that change. So you can start small. I'm not saying that everybody got to stop what they're doing and do this. It is about, one, we are not in the same position that we were once. Obama used social media. He was the first president ever to do that. Same with now. You have the ability to talk to millions of people in a matter of seconds. So that can be utilized. And you're only going to know a person so much. You can only go off a person's word. If they don't start making those actions, then you got to move on.
You can't, though.
Yes, you can.
Let me explain something.
Yes, you can. And
Let me explain.
Excuse me, not to understand, please, with all due respect.
No, it's your platform. I'm gonna respect you.
I understand that from maybe your point of view that you don't think anything could change, but you're not going to convince me different. And I don't want you to feel you need to waste your time to do that.
I didn't say nothing can change. I didn't say that part. I'm just trying to get to the part where you was talking about social media and Obama. The thing is things work on campaigns. Like, if you come on, if we're going to be real.
I'm being real. And I'm a really tell you this. We are the people. If we're not here, there's no reason for politics. If people don't exist and go to work or go buy homes or make money, they don't have campaign money. We are the people. So if they always want to use the Constitution, so go read it. We are the people. I am.
I appreciate
Mr. Best is. Either man is. And on and on and on. Bougie. Just like in your country, you are the people. So if we do not stand up, hold on, sir. If we do not stand up and do anything about it, to speak upon it and not be so afraid of these conversations, because unfortunately in our community, we don't talk about politics enough. Because we want to say the same thing that you're saying, which is it's not going to change. You need a whole bunch of money. It's almost like when I say I want to build a community and I got to get and hear all the work that has to be done. And then when I say I'm willing to do the work, then it's, you have to start somewhere. And all of this started somewhere. It was not always like this. And I'm not talking about no kumbaya shit. I'm talking about get your head in the game. We talk about children so much out here. We talk about boys so much out here. But again, half of the black men in my country don't vote.
Yeah,
they don't get together. Okay. They don't get together and change anything that pertains, even if it was just selfish, pertaining to them. Child care, welfare, what is it? The reform system for prisoners, all the things that Black men swear they care about. It is Black women I have seen at the polls. Black women. And then we get blamed. We helped vote Biden in. Yes. Because Donald Trump would have had us in a war with Russia. So it's like, if you want to be real, then that's real. That's what's happening now.
All right. Okay. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible without trying to sort of invoke any sort of detracting conversation. The fact of the matter is what you're asking about in general is an investor. Okay. And when an investor comes into your life, they're not just going to go, okay, whatever you're saying is fine. What they're going to do is assess the situation. You may have an idea about something and you can actually invoke that. And it's not far-fetched. It can be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. But when you turn around and go, okay, this is this or this is that, when the investor has invested in other people before, you're actually sort of detracting from yourself a little bit. And that's all it is.
I don't know what you're talking about, Simon. Are we talking about politics right now?
No, I'm talking about
I'm not asking.
But
I'm not asking. If you want to, fine. If you don't, it's okay. I still look at things the same way. The same as I look at politics or anything else that I have involved myself in.
I think your vision is good.
Start small. It's not just a vision, though. It's on paper. It's on blueprint. All I need, I'm waiting just to finish paying my land off, since that's what you're talking about. Once I pay my land off,
I'm not
they're all that the next step is me.
I'm not talking about that. No, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about the bigger picture.
And that is the bigger picture.
No, for what I see, the bigger picture is a community, right? You said you want to build a Black community.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're gonna have Black people in that community.
Okay, yeah.
And right. So the Black people in that community are gonna have opinions.
Okay, and
so if they're investing in your vision, you're gonna have to be able to sort of negotiate with them, right?
No, I just deliver on what I say.
So
that's
you're gonna have.
It's very simple.
All right, so you're gonna have a whole bunch of Black people in a community that you're not negotiating with.
Well, first off, you said you weren't having a conversation to distract what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the first step within our community, and to continue to keep what little freedoms we do have, we have to start paying attention. We have to start learning.
I'm not doing anything else.
Then hear me clearly. I feel the way I
think
feel.
What you're doing is good.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. No, I don't feel that, because I'm gonna be 100. You either do or you don't. Like, I can't worry about that. Right? Like, people will either agree, disagree, think I'm full of it or not. Like, I can't care about that. The only thing I can care about is how to make my words stick with what I'm saying. I know that's a new idea that people try to pretend like people can't do that, but you can say and do what you mean. And that's all I'm saying about this.
All I'm trying to do is understand what you're saying.
That's it. Do what you say you're going to do. That's all. And politicians don't do that. They're ran and puppeteered by the money that goes into their campaigns.
So you don't think, like, if you set up a Black community, which is something that is like somewhere, that politicians are not going to get involved?
Yeah, I'm saying yes, they're going to get involved. That's the point. That's the point.
So
if you have
then
a community,
you're saying at the same time that your rule is everything, because
no,
I'm saying
not,
to you,
Simon, I didn't say that.
Right. Well,
so don't put words in my mouth. That's not what I said. I am not a ruler of anyone's. I am not trying to rule anybody.
So
Just
can you
be.
see my viewpoint?
No, I don't. I
Right. Okay.
don't. I don't understand why you
That's
want to
what's going. Yeah.
say.
What I'm saying to you is, I'm trying to give you an example of what might happen in this community. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not going to be me.
It doesn't. I mean, it's
You're
going.
you're going to have people. You're building a community, right? You're going to have people
Well, right
that
now
may.
I'm growing food. The goal is to grow food. Use the money to grow food to start building the community. Start building homes. It's a step-by-step process. It's not that hard. I'm not doing nothing so special. This is just what
You're
it
doing
is. Those
something
are the
very
steps.
special. You need to acknowledge that.
I
You're doing something
acknowledge that it
very,
needs to
very
be
special.
done. I acknowledge it needs to be done. I have no misnomers about myself. I'm not trying to be some type of leader or ruler of anybody. I want to just
Yeah,
help
but
provide opportunity for people to have a choice, for people to be able to breathe. Because that is not what we
I see
have.
I see what you're saying, but the thing is like.
Welcome, Ethan. Welcome.
Hey, how y'all guys doing?
We're great. We're great.
Yeah,
We're going.
you're right. No, but what is I'd like to see what you're saying as your vision actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm saying to you is like, as a dude that's actually ran businesses and done certain things, some people will come into your proximity that do not agree with you, but do agree with you.
That's okay.
So it's just how you deal with that.
But
So
it's
if
okay.
you're turning around, but if you turn around and just go, oh yeah, this is just my vision, like I'm just gonna cut them off. It's just like that don't work.
Yes, it does. If you're not, hold on real quick. Let me explain this to you. I don't have to deal with anybody. I don't have to talk to anyone. It is your choice to continue to talk to anybody. Any other human being is the same way. Either if you're not a positive in my life, I'm not going to have you around. That's just the way I am. I fought too hard to get to this place in my life, mentally and spiritually. So if you're about to bring some negativity and some low craziness to my life, yes, I'm going to cut you off. That's just
we're not talking about crazy stuff.
I am talking about crazy stuff.
So
People
you don't disagree with your brother or
me.
sister? Like
what does that have to do with building a community? It has
it's
nothing
the
to
same
do with
thing.
that. No, it is not.
When you got people in your life, they will not necessarily agree with you at every
and that's okay.
Yeah, so that's all I'm talking about.
I don't care if they disagree. I'm gonna keep going and doing what I need to do. That's the thing. Like I know it sounds amazing.
So how are you gonna sort of build partnerships with people that could potentially invest in doing this? Is what
I've
I said.
already done that.
That was our original conversation.
I do that all the time. I have met plenty of people who have invested information, time, money, whatever it may be. I've had that happen. I know how to talk to folks. Yeah, exactly. So it's not,
E-Man talk. I don't know what E-Man's got to say.
If you're done, thank you, sir. Go ahead, sir. E-Man, let's go. And then I'm gonna pull this. We're gonna keep going with this video.
This is an interesting conversation, and I had a chance to go out to a homeless community, and when I went into this homeless community, they had their own governor, they had their own rules, they had everything that we have outside of in our world, inside of their world. And I think it's so easy for us to say that we want to change someone else's world instead of creating our own world with our own representatives. And we have seen this happen. Like, for example, the reason the Asian hate crime actually got pushed through was because they was already organizing on one accord. So when their leaders went to the politicians or they went to the government, they was able to accomplish a lot. So I will always vote. This is something that I promised my grandfather that he said his great grandfather couldn't vote. So he said that he would always like for me to exercise my vote. So I always will vote. But I think if we truthfully and honestly want change, everybody can't do their own thing. Like you have to be able to come together and align as a community. And I think that's where the power lies. But if us dividing, us doing different things, I think it's really hard to really have power.
Well, I appreciate what you said. Again, I disagree with that. I think that it takes it and in history in itself, it has taken few who have made choices for many. We look at our government. There's 330 million people in this country, give or take, right? That's the number, fluctuate. In the Senate, in the House, in our governments, you can add all of them up across the state, and it is not even a third of us. So we're not all on one accord. That will never be. It can't be, because you've got religion involved. You have people's point of view and perspective. You've got intention. You have so many things. And to the women and men that Mr. Best has shouted out, they did not wait for all Black people to be on accord to fight for change. And I guess that's the thing. You're not going to get that. And it's unfair to go, well, if you want something to work, then everybody got to agree. That's not the case. You got people agreeing and disagreeing all the time. It is the money. It is the money that has to be pushed behind that. So
when
I don't.
You say they, who are they?
What do you mean? Who are they? I'm not playing semantics with you, Simon.
Okay,
you're a
all
very
right.
smart
Well,
man.
all right, cool. All right, let's move on.
Yes.
When
please.
you say money, money,
yes.
Why do you think money is everything?
Because it is. In this country,
yeah, but why?
It runs the world. You know why? Do you not?
I know.
Work? Do you not
I know.
work for money? I'm sorry. Do you pay in rubles where you live?
I know what.
Do
I
we
know
pay
what that.
with cows.
I know. Yeah, but people have different perceptions of it.
So what?
So
what? Like
so what you're trying to build, right? Are you just purely based? Is it purely based on the fact that you just need investment? Because I want to see this. I want to see this actually played out. I want to see you on your YouTube channel when you got the land and everything, and I want to see it played out. That's what I'm investing in.
Well, you are more than welcome to donate. You can hit the Cash App or you go to my GoFundMe. And that's what I said. Now, if you want to invest to make money with me, that's a different conversation. And so I will have those conversations with people who truly want to invest and make money with me. And when I say make money, what I mean is that money then funnels into the next thing. That is how many businesses have created the wealth they have now. Yes, it's been a long time ago, but however, they did the same thing. Every rich person, every rich old white man will tell you, having land or real estate is the easiest and quickest way for you to gain wealth. I'm no fool to what is going on in our country, sir. Money does do everything here. If you don't got no money, you don't eat. If you don't have a garden in the back, if you don't know how to slaughter meat, if you ain't got chickens running around and you making your own food, the cars you drive cost money, the gas, the insurance. It is all built on the system of capitalism in this country. So I don't know why we pretend and play like that is not the case. And it's around the world globally, the same story. You got your rich at the top and you got your poor at the bottom and you got everybody in the middle trying to survive. And that's it.
Well, I think that was kind of the point that I was making is money. I agree with you that money is very important. And what we have seen.
It's what you do with it. It is what you do with the money. That's the difference.
What I'm saying is these politicians will always be driven by money because money is important. And what we have seen is big corporations have always manipulated. We could have the perfect candidate, but it's usually manipulate them with money.
They manipulate them with power, even.
And money.
They manipulate them with power. No, it's a difference. When you get into politics, it is very different in the sense of what you gain is power as you go up that ladder. You start, let's say you start as an alderman in your city. It gives you power to do certain things in your community that your average person isn't able to do
Yeah,
because
you
of that
can't
title and because of what has been set in place already. So
you
for us
can't
as
just get
Black
power.
people, for us as Black folks, right? And whether we vote because we are, like you said, which I think is wonderful, you promised your grandfather. I grew up in a home that we talked about politics because it had an effect on our lives from the top down. And the shit rolls down, and the shit rolls down to the people who can't stop it. And those are the people I'm talking about. Those are the people that, if given an opportunity, they would be able to do better in a system that doesn't want them to. And again, they don't think, these same politicians, the same people that sit in power all across this country, they don't think Black people gonna get together to do anything. We are not sought after. They know what we gonna do because we've been doing the same thing for the past 60 years. After civil rights, what leaders do we have? Al Sharpton works for MSNBC. I don't know what happened to Jesse Jackson. And a lot of other ones is just gone. We don't even hear from them.
I do.
Then what you have now is younger Black women getting into positions of power, younger Black men getting in positions of power, people who are in their 30s and younger. You have a mayor, and I can't remember the city. This young man is he is 25 years old. And his passion is this: I want to make a difference now instead of waiting until later. No one is coming to save the Black community. If we don't have these things in place, if we don't start fighting for ourselves in the sense of, even I'll fight for you. Me and you don't have to agree either, man. But if I was in politics, I'd still fight for what you wanted, what you want your children to have.
Yeah, but they still won't hear you though. This is the
That's
thing.
not true, Simon. And and I say this to you with all due respect. You might not hear me. Either man might not
No,
hear me.
on a
But
general
no.
platform.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. I understand that everyone is not gonna agree with what I say. I say that all the time. But it is not stopping me from trying to achieve the first goal. The first goal is get on my land, start getting these greenhouses up before it get cold. That's the goal for
All
me.
right, so if you became the vice president tomorrow,
Mhm.
do you actually think most Black people will listen to you?
Will it matter then?
I'm not asking that question. I'm asking
Exactly.
you.
I don't know why you asking me. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think the vice president is not a good position to say that you have power, because typically a vice president don't have power.
Actually, the vice president has powers. It is just they do a lot of their stuff behind the scenes. It isn't as glorified as the president, but they have a lot of power. They can make or break a vote in the Senate. There's a lot of things that they can do, but it is up to who is in that position and what they are willing to do. But the rules say that there are many things you can do as vice president.
Well,
I'm just saying,
a mayor is
go
more
on.
realistic. So, say for example, when it comes down to becoming a mayor of a city, because you have a little bit more control of the city that you're in.
Yeah.
I know and I think that's the biggest problem in the Black community. The people who do show up, is only half of the Black men show up to vote for the president. But when you start looking at the individual level, it's like 10% or 25% of them do local ballots. So
Exactly.
I do get the point that you're saying, but
If I was to run for mayor, either man, if I was to run for anything, you're gonna see my face almost 2 years in advance.
I agree,
Even
but
longer.
I think this is the problem, right? And I might be wrong, and people can call me selfish, but I vote for my best interest, and it's not always the best
That's
interest of Black
facts.
people.
Okay.
No, that's facts. That's
But what
facts.
does that? Okay, so what?
No,
That's
no,
what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing, gentlemen. It doesn't matter what you vote for. If you vote for in your own interest, if you vote for your community, whatever, it's still one vote. Whatever you vote for is your choice.
That's not
Yes,
correct.
Okay,
That-
Simon.
I'll
I'm
t-
glad
I'll tell
that
you
you
why.
can tell me
I'll tell you
about the
why.
civics in the United States. Okay, go ahead.
It's not specifically within the United
Well,
States.
that's what I'm talking.
Fine.
I'm speaking specifically. I don't want to
I'm
general this.
yeah.
I am
Okay.
talking about the presidents who are running, the people who are trying to run this country into the ground. They
Okay.
say that they got good intention for who, I don't know, because even the Republicans who are running don't like their constituents.
All
I
right.
think
I mean,
what's his name? Christie is the only one that actually did anything for his state. So it's
okay,
for
cool.
me, it's deeper than these generalized what if questions. I'm going off what's happening right now. Right now. Next year, next November, all of us have to make a decision. Either we care or we don't. We care enough
Yo,
to vote or we don't care. And that's it. But whether
yeah.
somebody will listen to me or not has nothing to do with it at all.
Okay. Okay.
I don't understand why y'all try to convince me like, and you're not the first, and I'm not shooting shots at anybody. I'm just tired of that argument. Like,
I'm not trying to
I
convince
am
you of
not.
anything. I was
Yes,
just trying to.
yes, you are. Whether you believe it or not, you are. It is a bias that's
Why
there.
do you think I'm
Y'all
trying to
don't
convince you of
mean
something?
because I have to start. It always has to start out with, well, it can't. I hear like it can't. It's a problem. That's not gonna work. That's not how
No,
people
no,
work.
no, no,
That's not
no,
how
no.
it is.
I
That's
no.
not how
I'll
that's
tell you
what
something.
you say. That's what
No,
you
I'll
say.
tell.
I'm
I'll tell you
repeating
something.
your words. That's
I'll
it.
tell you something. I'll tell you something. Ever since I came across your channel, ever since I came across you, I see you differently as opposed to most of these people on YouTube just spewing some nonsense. Like you have something actually to say. You have something actually that you have a cause for. You have something actually that it's like, okay, this is what I'm about. That's that. I'm not trying to come at you in any sort of shape or form, regardless of
Oh,
what you think. So, you know, or I wouldn't really be here. Like I don't need to be here. The fact of the matter is like, I believe in what you're doing. I'm just trying to work it out. I just don't
I
like
don't
completely
know.
understand it
Why are you trying to work it out? I've worked it
because
out
I
and I've
because I don't
explained it.
I yeah, but you can explain it all day long, but I just don't understand it right now. That's just me. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm just a human being.
Mhm.
So this is what I was trying to say to you in our conversation. When you form a community, sometimes there's going to be discrepancies where where you could have people that buy into your idea or ideology, but they
Mhm.
might not completely 100% agree with you. So
And that's
sometimes
okay.
yeah, that is okay, but as a
Yes.
leader, if you're going to be the leader in that sort of set of circumstances, you
I
need to
didn't say
be.
that. I'm a
Yeah,
land
but that's what you're
developer.
going to be. That's how I
Mhm.
asked you. I said, what you is that where you're going to,
I'm going
are
to
you?
set it up. I'm going to be land. It's land developing and provide opportunity and give people that
Yeah, but
opportunity to come in and
who's
do.
gonna lead it
What do
if
you
you're
mean?
the one
Who's
that's
gonna
doing all that
lead
stuff?
it? What do you mean? We'll
If
have
you're
the
doing
same
all,
things. It's a democratic country, right? So to
I don't
but
know
I
nothing
mean,
about the country. I don't really care
depending,
about that shit. I'm
I do because those
what's gonna
things
happen is,
matter.
yo, it's gonna be a pilgrimage. People are gonna be coming from all over the world to
Maybe.
come and settle where what you set up. That's what's gonna happen. That's how
Okay.
I'm interested. You don't get a nigga from Britain turning around talking to you for no apparent reason, because I've got people in Amsterdam, in Turkey, in Scotland, watching what you're doing based on the conversation we're having. So
Mhm.
it's not really about what I don't know if you're just going, okay, this is just an all American Hulk Hogan thing, but that's not what it is. That's not what it's gonna be. And this is the thing, when you set things up, sometimes that's just not how it works out. Like, so I'm just saying, I'm trying to work it out. I'm like going, oh, are you gonna be the leader in this? Do you have your total vision? Can you lead a certain type of people? Can you make this actually work and happen? Because I'm being real about it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? I'm not
In my
trying to, I'm not,
life, in my
yeah.
life, I've
All right,
always
so
been a leader in my life, personally,
all right.
in my jobs, in my home life. I've been taking care of people the majority of my life. I have taught adults, I have taught children, I have ran businesses, I have been in positions of power, and exactly that is not my goal, though. My goal is to provide opportunity for those who need it and want it. That is where you find your leaders. That is where you start to begin to see who wants to do what. Because once you have a certain amount of people in a particular area, you can then have your own fire. You can then have your own police. Then you can have your own sheriff. You can vote these people in. There's ways to do it. It is not so overwhelming to me. And maybe that's it. It doesn't, in my brain, I can give you from 1 to 100. I'm planning 100 years out. That's it.
Like, I'm just gonna say this and I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, certain people come into your life, and you need to realize that you need to sit back and listen. I had this whole thing with my ex-wife. Like, I had to listen. I had to just sit back and listen to her, because although like I had a discrepancy with her and I divorced her, she was right.
Okay.
And right now we're in the best place we could ever be, because she does what she needs to do and I do what I need to do, and we don't have any complaints. We don't have any arguments. We don't have any like police coming in the situation. We don't have any all this stuff people talk about. Some people come into your life sometimes and you just need to chill the fuck out.
I don't
just
know. Are you saying
realize
that to me?
I'm just saying in general, like
General to
sometimes.
who? Who are we talking about?
Do you see what's going
Are
on
you
here?
talking to me? Are you? This isn't a general
I'm just.
conversation, Simon.
It is a
You
general
are
conversation.
directing it to me.
No,
If it's
I'm
directed
not.
at me, then who needs to
Yo,
listen?
I'm privileged to be speaking to you because I recognize you as a whole black woman, because I realize what black women are. I was married to one for 10 years.
Okay.
I realize what black women are. They are special. You're a goddess to me. I don't even play with that shit. Like most men will come up here or do this, that, whatnot, throw you this or what, you can play all this stuff, whatever. You're a goddess to me. And the fact that you're even talking about potentially building a black community, I've always gonna say, look, yo, I'ma back you 100%. All the fucking way. I don't care who comes on your platform from day to day, week to week, and says whatever. Like, as long as you are able to accomplish that, I want to see that actually played out in my life. So, I'm in the background. I ain't gonna get in your face. But if you know where I am, you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna leave.
Okay. Well, I
Yo,
appreciate you
shout out.
coming up.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you having me up because it is what it is. And it's the same with E. Like, me and E went back and forth for a minute, and I appreciate E. I appreciate his whole situation because, like, he's a whole married man. And I remember the first time he came on the Peace, and like people were dissing him and going blah blah blah. You don't have a wife, or I was like, yo, man, why are you doing that to my man? Like, I appreciate E, man. So, and he's still there.
Yeah, thank
People just don't appreciate this shit. But it is what it is. You get what I mean? So, E, fulfill your life, man. You know what you're doing. Like, just because. It's just because. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Simon. But I do want to have this conversation with you, okay?
Okay, yes, please.
All right, so I get what you're saying. So when people say come together as a culture or a community, I think once you start making more money than the majority of the culture, it almost don't align with your best interest.
But I want to say, either man, I'm not doing this. My best interest was building a home for my mother. That's what the whole initial was about. I don't think Chocolate Earth would be here at this very moment if it was not for that woman. Because I just wanted to buy some land and build a house for my mom. That's it. Yeah, both. Yeah, Lotus. We talking about politics and the politics of community and not relationships, just our relationship between Black men and women and voting, and those things are important, and going into building that. So, like I said before, I was raised in a very militant home. My father was a Vietnam vet. My mother was an avid political presence in my life. She actually became union president for the schools, so looking out for people and understanding that human beings will always lead and follow. We'll always have that balance. Like, that's just, we do it all the time. It's not, doesn't make you weak or submissive. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, as you said, you vote for your best interest, right? But if there was nothing there or opportunities hadn't been created, you wouldn't be voting for nothing.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I guess they all start somewhere. I don't know what this is going to look like in, let's say, 2-3 years from now, right? I don't want to be still on here talking about this. All I want to be doing is showing you what the next move is about to be, because that's what it's about. It is about taking one thing and turning it into many things. It is about starting small, that seed. And I understand, E, you are a man of God, correct? That is your religion, Christianity?
Correct.
Okay. So if even within that, it is the belief or the faith of a mustard seed. So how is that any different from me being that I am in creation of, or a part of, the ability to choose that I can't take what I have, because what I have is as small as a mustard seed right now, and plant it and watch it grow into something else. I've been given these gifts with my life, with my brain, the ability to see things differently from maybe the next person, or provide something so that other people are comfortable. And that's what's happening. It's hot outside. Somebody invented air conditioning. They didn't have air conditioning, didn't grow up out the ground.
Well, no,
somebody invented it, right? Somebody made that, a human being. That's it. And other human beings got around it, and it became normalized and standard in cars, homes, businesses, the whole nine. So that's what I don't understand when we have these conversations. And no shot at you. It's just that comment of, well, it won't be because XYZ Black community, da 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 da. I don't understand that.
I think you heard me wrong, right?
Okay.
All right. So what I was saying, if we going to be able to make changes from a politician point of view, we don't have to have all Black people, but we need Black people, a group of Black people, to come together, because that's what we've seen to happen. Nobody can do this from an individual level, is the point that I'm making. So first, we're talking two different things, right? When you're talking about creating a community and, making it sustainable from for Black folks, so people of color is like what I like to say. It has been done. I done seen it. I know people who have been successfully, who created land, and they have done these things. So I'm not even talking that. When people say that can't happen, of course that can happen. But what I was talking about is more of a larger level type stuff. When we start saying, hey, we want to change things at the president level, change the person who rules the free world, that is when it's not going to be on an individual level. It's going to be a community level. And we don't have to have 100%, but what we need 14 to 15% of people with the same vision. And go ahead.
I think that, again, we can't quantify what it's both. Individuals make up a community. We're not attached to each other. So you have individuals who do all think the same. That's why we vote the way that we do. That's why we drive or do certain things. There are plenty of people who think the same way, right? Just to what you said earlier, what I'm speaking about and what I'm discussing is giving opportunity to those who normally would not get it. If you take a greenhouse, as I stated before, you take a greenhouse, one greenhouse, 6,000 square feet, you can grow up to all kinds of fruits and vegetables and all kinds of shit in there, right? With that alone, one greenhouse has the potential to make over 6 figures a year. Now, in my head, that's not just for me. I want to take that and create opportunity with it. Whether it's helping somebody get into a business they wanted to do, whether it's my business that I'm creating so that I could give jobs to people who are at home. With the technology that's available, you can make a call center in less than 48 hours. You see what I mean? So
I see, but you got to understand from my perspective, creating opportunities for entrepreneurs is something I do on a daily basis. And the government can't stop me on an individual level to do that. Really, nobody can stop you on the individual level unless you.
Oh, they can. If they wanted to, they can.
Listen, unless you're breaking the law, right? Outside of you breaking the law, typically the government don't even like if you follow the rules and you're following the law, they typically want you to thrive on an individual level because it typically create more taxes and it benefits the economy. So they're not really fighting that because of the color of your skin, based off my experience in the entrepreneur world. So I'm not knocking that. So an individual, you growing, producing more money, producing more capitals, increasing taxes, because that's what you do. They're not fighting that. But I'm talking about changing the part that I came up in. I didn't hear the whole first part, and I apologize about that.
That's okay.
But the part that I'm talking about is changing the policies from a political point of view, not an individual point of view.
Yeah.
That right there it can't be done. I get you saying that there's a whole bunch of individuals coming together as a group, but it still takes the group.
So if that's the case, then why do we have the rights that we do then, E?
So you
who got together? No, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not even trying to be funny. When you talk about it cannot be done, that I disagree with. Because let's say, for instance, I'll just put this out here. My goal is to create communities across the country, not just one in my state. But this right now is my backyard. If I start with 3,000 people, that's a town. If I get 10,000 people, now I can claim a small city. 750,000 people. Now you got to give me a new senator. Now you got to open up another seat for the House of Representatives. That's why California got so many. So it can be done. It's how you decide to do it and who you doing it with. It ain't just us, as far as people of color, who have the same, like we all have the same enemy, so to speak, right? But when you talk about it can't be done, that is untrue. Well, because in history, in history, it has been done with different cultures, not just ours, but within different cultures. Same formula. They started with the communities. Why do the Asian community in our country have so much money? It's because their forefathers said, listen, we're going to underbid everybody, even the European man. And you know that when it comes to the rich, they don't want to pay nothing. So if you can underbid the person that they pay to do what they want, you got their business. Color or no color. That we've seen in history.
But we have never seen anyone in history. When I say can't, you think I'm saying that it can't be done. That's not what I'm
Yes,
saying.
but when you use the word can't, for me, in
No,
my opinion, the definition is that mean it's impossible
no,
to do.
but you have to listen to what I'm saying.
I'm
What I
listening to you, sir.
I
I'm
am saying.
listening. I'm just
So
I'm just repeating back
we
what
can
you
go back
said.
in history. This is the point that I'm telling you. We can go back in history, and a individual have never made change. One
That's
individual have never. Now we
so
can
why do we
say
talk about these black people here? Why do we talk about Frederick Douglass? Why do we talk about Marcus Garvey? Why do we talk about Malcolm X? Why do we talk about Martin Luther King? Why do we talk about what's her name, Bethune? Why do we talk about I can't think of her name, Shelley? Oh my gosh, she was one of the only black women that has ever run for president. And if you know who that is, please let me know. There is a both here that I think we don't want to spread the jelly and the jam on both sides. There's a both. There's community thinking and there's individual thinking. You, E, are a part of a community. You are a black man in this country. That you can't, that wasn't your choice, right? You came here this way. No other choices. You were born into a black family. Your parents are black. You're considered black. You're considered a black male in this country, right?
yes.
Okay. So with that, just like you said earlier, even though you and I both know, and from what we've been told, people have lost their lives for the right to vote, correct?
Correct.
Okay. People had to read the Constitution, learn it, and recite it before they had the right to vote.
Correct.
Am I wrong? Okay. So these things changed from the individual level to the community level because someone somewhere said this ain't right. The Black Panthers, the religious side of it. We had a lot of people who were not involved, but there was enough involved to make the changes so you and I don't have to go through that.
I
But
agree.
we are
But let me-
still going through, hold on, E. We are still going through where you and I are a threat in this country. Our children are threats in this country. They ain't stopped taking us out. They use the police as a leverage against us in certain areas of this country. Now, some of us don't ever experience that. That don't mean it don't happen. And I'm thankful to the ones that have never experienced that. I'm thankful that I have never had to be frisked down by the police somewhere. Thank you, Shirley Chisholm. That's right. But I will tell you this. I had to deal with, and I can only speak on it. I don't know how far, this has been a while ago, but I had to do my father's wrongful death case. So I spent 5 years in law and in the police system, trying to understand what happened to my father. And they all gathered around each other and held that tight. And then after it got so long, the insurance companies wanted to stop dealing with me. So that's like, here, we're going to give you a little money. So again, I speak from not just a place of kumbaya community. I speak from a place because I come from the grit and the grind. I didn't come from money. I didn't even come from lower middle class money. I grew up in the system. So when that happens, it gives some of us, it gives you that perspective of these are the people that we stare at on this TV screen. The people that we see they signs all over where we live when it's voting time. But we don't know their true intention. We don't make them tell us their true intention because we are thinking, I got to take care of mine. I don't have time for that. So it takes those individuals who have the time to bring that to others so that they understand, okay, I know you don't have the time, but here's what it is. Here it is on a buffet. Now you can make a decision because now you got all the information. That's all I'm talking about.
So, but what you did is you didn't list individuals, you list leaders of communities. When you said Malcolm X,
But
for
they're
example,
still individuals, though,
but
E.
they're not operating in the form of an individual. They're operating in a community, and they're speaking as a leader for a community. So
I don't.
Malcolm X was not a individual.
Yes,
Like
he
if you
was. Did you not see the movie? Did you
okay,
not read his book? He was in
okay.
the streets. He was a thug. He was doing all kinds of shadiness before he got into Islam. Then he started going into the community. And I guess that's the thing. Why do we have to separate it? Why can't it just be both? You're going to have individual thought. My individual thought is this shit ain't right and it needs to be changed. I'm here. It's me. Hello. Yes. However, I talk to different people. I connect with different people on here. Are we one group? Not yet. But it's not like it's not possible. It's not like it can't happen. It's already going on. I look at the brothers that's in Tennessee. These are two young brothers. They tried to strip their ability within the state Senate and House. And they fought and they got back in and they're making changes that they never thought. Black folks never thought in that state would change. And those are two individuals. But they have the community of people behind them. So I don't know why we have to separate this. It doesn't have to be. I guess that's the thing. We don't have to argue that point because it's
Well,
both.
let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Do you believe the problems that Black people have go away with money?
No, not all of them. It's
No,
what
I'm
you
saying
do.
like,
It's what you do with the money.
well, now let me ask you a different question. The more money I have, do you believe the less problems I have?
I think you have a different set of problems at that point. I don't think if you didn't have money, if that's what you're asking me, let's say if I won the lottery tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would still do the same thing. And even
No,
faster.
like I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying I'm using myself as an example because I'm saying to answer your question, if I was to gain the money that I know I could make real change with, it is what you do with the money. Now, the problems that would go away from me though is my school debt, having somebody else build my house, a better vehicle, those problems, better health care, you know what I mean? Those problems would then be fixed. But then I got new problems because I got to pay taxes on this money. I got to make it last. I've got to be careful who's around me. So that's what I'm saying. There's just a different set.
But that's where we disagree. It's not like when you talk about like taxes, money, you can get rid of that. You can get a tax attorney to take care of it. Like money solves so many things that people don't want to acknowledge. Like it's like this mindset that if you have enough money, like in your example, if you hit in the lottery, I would say 99.9% of all your problems would be gone. Everything else would be some figment of your imagination if it's a problem.
Oh, I don't think so. I disagree with that because, again, I'm a Black woman in this country, sir, trying to make changes that are not necessarily considered normal changes. I would buy up as much land as I possibly could. You don't think that's going to be a problem for me?
Nope. Absolutely.
No, it's not going to be a problem for me to buy it, but somebody going to start watching. And you know this, E.
Well, they can watch me regardless. Listen, I remember when
they gonna watch you. Yes, they're gonna watch you irregardless. True enough. What I'm saying is, and you're saying people don't want to acknowledge it. The acknowledgement is this: human beings are always going to be curious. They're always going to know what and why and when and how. Always. Whether they make it up in their head or whether they seek out information, it doesn't matter. You want to know. My thing has always been what I've continuously seen in the sense of people speaking for the Black community is a lot of filibustering and a lot of bull, and they have the money to make change. So then what's the problem? Because we do have Black millionaires and billionaires. So what's the problem? And they seem to have problems.
Well, so I think it comes down to return on investment, because as I start making money, people ask me, did I invest back into the Black community, right?
What does that even mean? That's such a general conversation. Right. Like, that's not a fair question. I would never ask somebody that.
Well, these are just the questions that I was asked, and I still have intelligence. I'm not going to bet on a bad bet just because it's Black, if that makes sense. So I think these things is, when we look at these people, the billionaires, it's not that they don't want to invest in the Black community. Do they have the right options to be able to get a quality return on their investment?
Well, if that's what you think and that's what's going to happen, then you shouldn't do it at all. I'm not looking to get a return on my investment. See, that's the difference. The return on investment is me. I'm investing in me, right? And what I am able to produce. If I'm able to produce a product that people want to buy, now there's money going to come in from that. There's plenty of people that have businesses that don't make a profit.
I get that, but hold on. I'm just saying, are you saying that you're willing to invest in a Black business and not expect the return on your investment?
Yes. The return on my investment is, it's not tangible. See, that's the thing I think people kind of get twisted of where I'm concerned. What I'm speaking of is, if you're going to build a community, you're going to have to be willing to give without a return. We do it all the time. There is no guarantee to anything in this life. Nothing. So for me, as long as I'm comfortable, that's why I'm building my own home. I ain't gonna have no rent to pay. I ain't gonna have no mortgage. All I will have is taxes I gotta pay every year, and the maintenance on my home. Hey, that's it. So any money I get is just a plus. I don't have children. I'm not married. I got my brother and sister. Once I know that they okay, whoo, I'm good. Give people who done helped me along the way. Hey, here goes some money for you and some money for you. I'm good. My return is seeing other people prosper. That is the return I want. I want my nephews who are 7 and 4 to be like, damn, my aunt put in work. That's what those people did for us. And they didn't even know who we are.
Well, I get if you in that mindset.
I am in that mindset, sir.
And I get that. But for me, I'm looking at how can I have, because it's great if I can impact the people while I'm here, but how am I going to impact my kids? How am I going to impact somebody?
The same way.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me land.
All right.
How am I going to impact someone else's kids that I'm not associated with at all? And these are the questions that I ask. And when we start talking about, opening up these learning centers and these education centers and teaching young Black boys and Black girls how to read, how to do math, how to do financial statements, building these community centers that is community not based on athletic abilities, but the intelligence of the Black person. Those type things have to be able to be sustainable after I'm no longer in this earth.
Exactly.
And so when I'm thinking from a profitable, me having to have a return on an investment, I have to be able to have my money working for me so that I could be able to have these programs continue to make money long after me. So that's why when I say return on investment, it's not me just seeing one Black person being impacted. It's me seeing generations being impacted because we put a system in place. And the system we place, say for example, we own a hotel. A percentage of that hotel is going towards keeping these centers open, making sure these centers have enough money to outlive us. So
Right.
I think when I'm looking at a return on investment, I'm thinking past my generation because
That's
my
what,
family
yeah.
is going to be good because I'm here. But what about my great 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 grandkids? What system am I going to have in place in the communities that they will be growing up in? So that's just the mindset that I have.
Hey, I got you. But I do. When I started this plan, I went 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years on and on. And I said, I'm going to go 100. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that my bloodline do not have to struggle the way that our former generations had. That they have a place to stay, that if they don't want to stay in this country, they got enough money to get out. That's where my mind is. So I know that may seem somewhat different, which I don't get, but I don't know. People think like if you care about, the only way I'm able to sit here and have this conversation with you is because somebody created this. Someone created this computer. Somebody created the internet. Somebody created this system so we can use it. It's not mine. I didn't do it. Now my family's internet, they ain't got shit to do with that. My father passed away before he saw Obama be president. So it's like, I think on that level, and that's just me, right? But it doesn't mean that I look down or think I'm better than anybody, because I don't. I really don't. I want to see an impact for the people who I know need it. And I am thankful that my world has consisted of more than just my family. I have been in circles that maybe not everyone gets to see. So I take that knowledge, bring it back so that I can apply it in a different way. It took me almost 5 years to decide if I was going to get on YouTube, because I was not going to get on here and start talking about anything unless I was able to bring it all the way back around. That's why it's called Chocolate Earth, because it's continuous. It's one circle. It just flows. One thing flows into the next. Boom, boom, boom. And that's it. And for me, whatever laws are available, whatever choices are available for me to lock in what I build so that my family members and those related to me, or if I decide to have children or whatever it may be, they don't have to worry. Our counterparts have. So if they can think that way, it ain't no. My great grandfather thought about us. He didn't know me. I didn't meet that man. But my grandfather fumbled the ball.
Well, I think that's the question. I think the question is, how do we make sure what we build today lasts 6 to 7 generations?
We don't know that. So what we do is try the best we can. We build it on a solid foundation. That's why I say I start small. I start small and grow in increments. That's all that has happened. We were born into this already. This had been here. But our country is still young, because the millionaires and billionaires who still run, and trillionaires now, and this is based off evaluation. It's not like these people walking around with piles of cash. This is based off of everything that they have, the land they own, their assets, their homes, the worth that they are given on paper. You could be cash poor, but you could be asset rich in this country. I'll take Donald Trump. You had asked me about Donald Trump. I'll give you an example. He is cash poor. He's using money from the campaign to pay his attorneys. That is against the law. You can't do that. It's just like ciphering money from your foundation. For instance, I have Chocolate Earth Foundation, and I have Chocolate Earth Farms, 2 different entities. Whatever I donate, I can legally donate into my nonprofit from my business, but I actually have to do some nonprofit shit, right? Like I can't just have it in there and then pull it out and spend as I want to, because you're getting the benefit of no taxes. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't have a problem, pick my brain. I don't have a problem with that. I just am, I'm at a place now, and it's not you, E. It is just the constant thought process of this is the problem in the Black community. Okay, I'm giving a solution. But guess what? I've been on here saying the same thing for almost what? Now going on a little bit over a year and a half. The way I see people drop their money to knock somebody off a panel or give money to people like Dr. Umar Johnson faithfully with no tangibles. But when I say we can have a community, we can build this, we can create these things across the board. Oh, you crazy. You tripping.
Well, I don't
realistic.
Yeah. I don't think it's crazy. Like I said, I don't think nothing that you said is crazy from building your own sustainable community. I think it comes down to I just it's this happened. So I'm from Georgia, and it is Black communities, Black forums, like we have that here. So it's like it's not something that's not attainable. Those things can happen very easily.
Well, what I'm talking about is a lot more in depth than just a few sections of the city. I'm talking about that we have our own urban cities, that we have the schools that we pay for. When we go to work in our city, your money goes where it needs to go, which is to your child's education, to healthcare, to the roads, to the city lights, to the hospitals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, that's
I get what you
attainable.
say. So
Yeah.
well, let's see if we on the same wavelength. So Atlanta is an urban city that's ran by Black people. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I don't disagree with you. I agree.
Yeah. So when I look at cities like Atlanta, right? Atlanta's unique because there's no other city like Atlanta, in my opinion. But if you look from the mayor to the person on top of the school board, it's Black. It's from the Rudy to the Tootie is what my grandma would say. It's all
the Rudy
Black.
to the tutor.
But I the question that I ask is, how do we get the Black people that's in charge to start moving in the Black interests, in your opinion, in these cities?
Because you have to start replacing. You can't take things away from the Black community without replacing them. We need to have our own grocery stores. We need to have our own shops. We need to own the land that the shop is sitting on. We need to be in charge of the roads that put down, where the areas are, how the buses run. Because even though Atlanta is Black, your governor is not. Georgia is still a battleground state. Even with it being Black in those areas, in comparison to the whole state of Georgia, your governor is white.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
So
and the
I'm
people who, but hear me out. You asked, I'm gonna answer it. I'll land quick. What I'm talking about is, if it's from the top to the bottom, your governor need to be Black. Your House of Representatives need to be majority Black. It needs to be more voices in places of power. That is what I mean by changing things politically with community. Because you got cities all over the country that have predominantly Black areas, but that doesn't mean anything.
So you're advocating for a Black state, because a black city and a black state is two different things. You're saying,
Of course it is.
so,
Yeah.
but I'm saying what you're advocating is that you want a full state that's completely ran by black people.
Why not?
I'm
We
not.
got,
I'm not. I'm
we
just
got states
asking
that's
for
right. Yes.
understanding.
Yes. As much as this is still a country that is divided, we are not all linked up. We are not kumbayaing each other. It is baloney and it is a farce. There are people making decisions that should not be in positions of making decisions. But again, because Black folks have been pushed out, ran out, taken out because of politics, they have made us fearful of it and we ignore it. Some of us come out and vote, no doubt. However, I think since social media, yes, I think that has had a huge impact on getting the word out about who and what we need to be paying attention to.
So, with that, to accomplish a state, what we would have to do is have other black people come to one state. Do you agree with that? From a members' point of view. Okay. All right. So for us, say if we wanted Georgia, right? We would have to draw black people from Tennessee, like all around the world, to come there so that we can be
It's
close
called
to
migration. That's it.
migration. I got you. So we can be the majority in one area, and then that's the only way we can make change.
But they're not gonna let you do it in the South though. You still got too much, you got too much rumbling down there. And that's why I say places like Arizona is a swing state. We made it blue 2 years ago. Well, 4 years ago now. There is more democratic, so to speak. We have our first Democratic mayor in a minute. I mean, governor. She's a woman. And so Arizona is progressive in some places, and backwards in as Hades on the other. But we've had several women governors. How many black male governors have we had?
You talking about in Arizona? I don't know.
I'm talking about period across the board. Any country, any state. I'm sorry.
Any state. So
any state.
Well, we know the path of Obama, right? We know that he didn't.
We're not talking about Obama because Obama was a senator. He was not a governor.
Okay.
He was a Chicago senator, not governor. I said governor.
Got you. So I think it comes down to, I don't know if black men want that.
And that's my problem.
I got it. Cool.
Because I feel like, why is that if black men are so concerned about the nuclear family, because I hear that a lot out here.
So hold on. Do you think the government is against the nuclear family? Is that what you said?
I think the government is about doing what's in the best interest of the government. That's what.
Well, so
it has nothing to do with the nuclear family. Whatever, they haven't done anything in my perspective other than the incentive to get married because they want to pay you or they'll pay you more money. You have states who are now incentivizing couples, and if you have children, they'll pay more for you, but it ain't us. They ain't asking for us to make more babies because we're gonna do it regardless.
So what I'm saying is like, so I heard you say like the Democratic Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after you make roughly, let's say, $250,000 a year, the Democrat Party becomes an enemy to your finances. Let's say that.
I don't think so.
Okay, I got it.
I think that they want you to pay your fair share, and people with money don't want to do that.
You're right. We don't. And the idea is, this idea is just because. So hold on, let's see where you stand on that. You feel just because I have worked harder to make more money, I should pay more taxes than everyone else?
I think that it has. I don't. You may. Yeah, we're gonna disagree on this because I don't think it has anything to do with whether you worked hard or not. That
But I'm telling you,
nothing to do with it.
As a black I'm saying as a black man,
You need to pay your taxes.
listen,
Yes.
hold on. As a black
Right?
man in the United States, for me to make over $250,000, I had to work a lot harder than most people who make 60,000. It didn't come easy, right? And so
Yeah, of course, in your case, no, maybe not. But in another person's case, maybe it did. Those things, I have no control over that, right?
I'm not, but
Like
I'm trying to get where you stand. You think that a black man made over 250,000, it was easy to him in the United States?
I didn't say that, sir. That's not even what? No. What do you mean?
No, I'm
If
trying
you
to get an
have,
understanding.
if you come into money, that's one thing. If you have the sensibility to go make money, if you go into a field that makes you money, if you start a business that makes you money, those opportunities are there because someone else created them. You stepped into them and utilized what was there to create wealth for yourself. This is what I'm saying. Like your education, did you go to a HBCU?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. Your education was written by somebody else. Your knowledge and how you can move within this country, you gained that knowledge from somebody else.
I gained the knowledge from the people who had the knowledge.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. Like, it's almost like, okay, if those people weren't there to do that, you may have been doing something else. You may have
No,
ended up making 60,000 a year, right?
no, I don't think it's a world that I make 60,000 a year, and might be
No,
naive.
I am not being facetious. I'm saying that anyone at any given time could be someone else in this life. You could be rich one day and poor the other.
I think
You
you
could
can take
be
it all from
healthy.
me.
No, hold on. You could be healthy. You could be sick. I believe, and I find that interesting, being that from Christianity, you say that. Within the Bible, it also expresses the fact that you could be this person on the side of the road, because every one of Jesus's apostles had some dirt in their background, right?
No, that's not
No,
what
it's
that
not.
says.
No, I didn't say that's what you said. What I said was based on from where you come from religiously, and when you talk about money, and the fact that you said you could not see there, you do not believe that there is a world that you would be making $60,000 a year. You don't know that.
I do know that. I know
No,
that
you
for a
don't.
fact.
No, you
Let
don't.
me
No,
tell
you
you why I
don't.
know
Because this
that
is
for a
the
fact.
only life that you have. You get one try.
I
That's
I
it. Like,
get what you
what are
saying.
you
Listen,
talking about? There are
the-
black men. Stop. There are
I'm
black
not those
men
black
who are
men,
making 60,000 a year
but they
and
not
living
me.
right.
Listen,
Exactly.
I'm him. Listen, I get it. I'm him. I know that most people
Okay, y'all love
might
playing semantics. I'm telling you, child, y'all love it.
no.
Yes, you do.
This is the point that I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when people talk about like Jesus, they think he was broke. And I'm not gonna go down that
What does
rabbit
that
hole.
even matter?
Hold
That's
on,
what I'm
that's
saying.
okay.
Like,
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go down
whether
that
he
rabbit
was
hole.
okay, but I say this,
Hold on. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
but you did.
But
You
hold
said
on,
it out
no,
loud.
hold
So,
on. Listen. I want to
uh-huh.
make this statement, right?
Yeah.
Why should? Because first of all, if you understand how the tax code is written, right?
Sir, I know how the tax code was
Hold on,
written.
let me finish. I've been letting you land all day. Can I land one plane?
This is my show. Yes, of course. That's how
Can
it
I
works.
land
But
one?
I will let you land. But please don't make assumptions about what I do and don't know.
I didn't say. I haven't made
Yes,
one
you
assumption.
did.
What was
You
the assumption
said
I said?
well, if you know the tax law, sir, you ain't got
I
to
said
say that.
according to the tax law.
Okay.
Let's play it back.
Okay,
All right.
I'm not playing it back. Go ahead.
According to the tax law, right, and how the tax law works, right?
Uh-huh.
What wealthy people have learned is we will always find ways to have write-offs or create opportunities where we don't have to pay a bulk of taxes, right?
And why is that?
Why is it? Because
Why do you think it was written that way for you?
I think it was, first of all, it was to give opportunities to people who didn't have as much as us.
Oh, exactly. Oh, look at you. But yet and still you don't want to pay taxes to that tune.
No,
Because
so
you feel like you worked harder, so why should
I
your
did work
money?
hard. So,
But okay, so the road you drive, the lights that you use, the grid, the plumbers that keep the trash men, the sewer people, the folks that work at the places that keep your house comfortable.
I pay
You
all
don't
that.
think
I
that
pay
they
all that.
should get
I pay
yeah,
all that.
you may pay it. But again, if they weren't there, could you do it yourself with
Yeah,
that
I'm
two
pretty sure I
that
could. But
that
listen,
six?
but
No,
hold on,
see,
but
not the
let
pretty
me
sure. It's like
see.
you don't
I
want to
think,
give
hold
acknowledge
on, listen,
to the
listen,
little
hold on,
people, and that's
hold
not
on.
okay.
No, listen, see, this is what the point that I'm telling you is, this idea that we don't pay taxes is completely crazy,
Y'all don't
right?
pay enough taxes.
Yes,
No,
we
you
do.
don't.
Listen,
I'm not
to
talking
me,
about people like you, E. You're not
listen, let
making
me.
trillions of dollars every year.
I get what you're saying, but listen, just hear me out of what
Mhm.
I'm saying. So if I bring on an employee, right? My employee pay half of their taxes, and as the employer, I pay the other half of their
Yes,
taxes, right?
I'm aware.
So when people look at me and they say you don't pay personal taxes, if you look at my business pay a lot of taxes. So it's not that I'm just not paying taxes at all. That's the point that I was making. Every product that I sell in my business is taxed. So we're
So it's
paying.
tax, but is it state? Is it city? Is it
Well,
federal? Is it all
we
three
don't
of them? Is
we
it
don't we don't have
FICA?
state we
You know
don't
what
have
I'm
state
saying?
we don't have state taxes
There
in
you go.
Washington.
Okay. There you go.
No,
Exactly. So
but
you
we have
don't have state tax, but you benefit from what the state provides.
well, no, hold on. But the state we pay something called excise tax, which goes directly to the state.
Again, benefiting. So the things that you benefit from, like the
But I
grid
have
that
I
you're
have no
on.
listen. I have no problem paying people half of the people's Social Security tax. I have no problem paying the excise tax. But when it comes down to me paying my personal taxes, I don't think that I should have to pay more just because I made more.
Well, talk to the people who made the law.
Oh no, trust me. It's a reason that I vote the way that I vote. I vote for people who
And
typically
that
have.
has to be changed.
I don't think it will be.
Because you would not, it will be if enough people get tired of it. Because again, I have no problem with nobody making their money. Get your money how you get it. But I would happily make sure that the money that I'm making is because of the benefits. Like, for instance, you sell a product. Within that product, is it a tangible product or is it all online? Is it a
It's a
product that
tangible.
has to be shipped out, or is it a product that you can go pick up at a store, or even both? There are people still involved in your process that will not or do not make what you make. And
They
the
shouldn't.
taxes,
They shouldn't make nowhere close
but
to
see,
what I
this is
make
what I'm
because I the
saying.
one
There
took the
will,
risk.
hold on. But a person should be living comfortably. And I'm not saying that your taxes personally it's going to change that. What I'm talking about is anybody that makes six figures or more in this country, what else can you buy? Because unless you're trying to buy something else or go do something, that's your business. But in all honesty, these situations, the corporations, the ability to have websites, all of these little intricate things, there are people involved behind every step. And that's all I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are behind the scenes every day doing their thing, and they don't make what you make.
But they get incentivized for the work that they do.
Who incentivizes them?
I do.
Okay,
They
but
call
you're
my
one
employees.
person. You're not Kraft.
No, what I'm
You're not
so
part of the structure I'm talking about.
I get it, but I
If you
get
get it, then stop trying to
I'm
go away from the fact you're talking about individualism. You've already said you vote for your own interests. Fine. That is great. But when you are a public servant, That is a totally different. If there was no public servants to make these laws so that you could benefit from it, it wouldn't matter.
I got what you
And
said. So let me ask you a
that's what I
question.
mean. Like, I
So
don't
let me.
get why we play like that.
So no, I want you to. I want to understand you, right? So you're
I don't know
saying.
why people try.
I want to understand. You said. So you believe the people that, say, for example, the secretary at the desk at the Tesla, they should, because I believe that.
I think that people should be paid a comfortable wage. We used to
That's
have
what.
something in this country called, it was called, what the fuck was that called? Shoot. It was like it's like whatever cost of living raise. Companies used to give people boosts every year. Of course, if you were with the company, of course, all that happy-go-lucky shit. But I'm saying they used to have a cost of living raise. We haven't raised anything in about 20 to 25 years.
So I want to understand. So are you saying that people are not making enough money to live comfortably
Yes,
in the United?
yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, it is.
Interesting take.
Well, you live in a place that your perspective is going to be different.
No,
Because
I'm
like
just
you
saying,
said,
like when we look
it
at
is.
when
Go
you
ahead.
look at the guy that's making, let's say the guy that's making the average income $50,000, right?
That's not average.
40,000. What do you want to do? 30? Let's do
Yeah,
25.
it's under 30. It's
Let's
under
do
30.
25. I want to do 25.
Whatever you
Right?
want to do, but it
The
ain't
person
50.
the
Go ahead.
person that making 25,000 in America, first of all, is typically going to qualify for government benefits at
Not
25,000.
necessarily.
Oh, okay. All right. So you
You
saying that
can't say that though. I mean,
I
we can look it
can say
up.
that.
We can look it up, E,
I
because
know
it's state to state. My
I get
niece,
it.
I'll give you a tangible. It's not just me talking shit, like for real. Like this is real out life situations that I'm talking about. Like
I get
I'm
what
not
you're
just
saying, but
making
listen,
things up off the top of my
I got
head.
you. So I work with the government system, and I'm talking about in the state of Washington. Let me
That's all you're
qualify.
talking about. Thank you.
That's
Okay.
cool. Let's go to the state of
Yes.
Washington.
Thank
In the
you.
state of
Okay.
Washington, if a
Mhm.
person is making 25,000, they typically
Mhm.
they're gonna qualify for housing. They're gonna qualify for food,
Mhm.
and they're gonna qualify for Medicare. So that 25,000 for the most part will go to leisure type purchases.
No, that's not true. Go ahead though.
So, do you believe if the government paid for their housing, if they paid for their everything else, and on top of that, they had $25,000 to spend on their everyday, do you think that's comfortable, or are you saying that it's not comfortable?
How much is rent in Washington average? Do you
Well, that's
know
what, yes.
how much?
So I think it's right at 1,800. It depends on size, obviously, right? But I think it's between 16 to 1,800 is the average. But
Mhm.
if you're making under $25,000, the government is giving you vouchers or different things like that in the state of
Hey,
Washington.
Lady Royal, thank you for coming. Okay, so in your experience and in your state, $25,000. Okay, so they give them SNAP, if that is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The housing vouchers, I'm not sure how that goes, but the last time I checked, a lot of people across the country aren't taking housing vouchers. Section 8 is not, a lot of renters are deciding not to take Section 8 people. Okay, that's their choice. Fine, their property. Okay, 25,000 after tax is not $25,000, and they're not getting it in a lump sum once a
Okay.
year. They got to break that up in whatever check that is. And if they
Okay.
are making any kind of income, they still have to pay a percentage of that housing. It's not where they just get to sit up with zero. They have to be making nothing, and they have to prove they're making nothing. They checking
Let's
your
take
social security
$500.
number.
I know.
They're taking your social security number. They're checking your past. It isn't that you could just walk into a welfare office and go, "I'm poor, let's go." It don't
Actually, you
work
can
like
in
that.
Washington. In Washington, you can. If you can prove that you're homeless and don't have a place to stay, you can walk in, and they will do that.
But you still have
But
to prove it. You still have to prove it.
Yeah. So, but hold on. But let's ask. So at $2,500, let's go down. Let's say
Hey, Mama Pam, welcome y'all. Welcome y'all. Go ahead, sir.
let's say $1,500. So they got $1,500 to spend on things in the house, right? Do you believe $1,500 is enough money to live comfortably?
No, I don't. Not in this age, no. Because what you said was a house. You said food. Now we talking electricity. We're talking if it's gas and electricity. We're saying if it's water, sewage, trash, clothes, like all of that stuff. What if they have a vehicle? That's insurance, tires, the vehicle itself. Like it's almost like when we have these discussions, it is incumbent, I think, when we say things like this, that at least you know what is happening in the country and in your state and in your city. Because again, it is life from your perspective, not life from a homeless person, not life from a single mother or a single father, not life from a veteran, not life of the disabled or the elderly. Like it's almost like we stop remembering that there are different reasons why a person could be in this situation. Everybody ain't just popping off kids to live off the state.
Well,
And that's the attitude I think people with that make money or have had the opportunity to make money, whether it was hard or not, that's your life.
Well,
There's
I get
other
what you said.
people
Hold on.
who live
I'm
in different sections of the world. Like
I'm only can think in Washington. I get that other people in the world are struggling.
But I do,
Hold
but
on,
that's what you want to understand me, E.
I
My
got you, but hold on,
perspective.
let me make my statement though. In
Okay.
Washington, so what from my point of view in Washington, we have a labor shortage, right? That means we have more jobs than we have people willing to work, right? So people are getting signing bonuses on very basic level jobs because people are not working. So how do we supposed to look at it from that point of view in my state?
Well, one, if y'all looked at people as human beings, it wouldn't be so quick to judge the fact you have labor shortages because these companies who make billions and sometimes trillions are giving money to their investors, but not the people who keep it going. We want to talk about basic people who work in retail, who work in fast food, who work behind the scenes, who work in childcare, who work at your school. Because I'm gonna tell you this: school teachers and assistants, they make about 25,000, and they with people kids all day. They don't make a lot of money. Our teachers don't make a lot of money. So when I hear you say, I worked hard for my money, so why should I, in my personal taxes, have to pay more? Because that's where that money goes.
It doesn't go there though. See,
well, then that's my problem.
But
That
no,
is
that's
my
the
problem
point.
with it.
See, the point is people say, well, we want your money. We want you to pay more
It's not
taxes. So
yours, sir. I'm
it
gonna
is
be
my
real
money. I
with you.
made
It's
it.
your money. No, you didn't. What you did
I made
was
it.
create a system. Stop. Let's
No,
be
I
honest.
made it.
Sir, no, you didn't go outside and make it, and you didn't print it off a printer. You are making money because an opportunity was there for you to create your wealth. They allow us to do these things in this country, sir. Like, let's be real. It wasn't that you can go, and I bet you ask your mama, she can tell you. It wasn't that long ago. All this, you can get you an LLC and you can have a business and you can just pick up and do or get you a Shopify and da 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 da. Everybody ain't on that. They're not. There are people in the background, those people who, the bus drivers, the people who clean the streets, the people who clean your sewers, the people who cut grass, all of these people who keep the country buzzing. Those are the people I am talking about, and they need to be acknowledged. Our veterans, 60% of the homeless are men. I don't get it. Because if men have all this opportunity and growth and substance and they care about each other so much, then why is that the case? These are the things that I see. These are the things that I've also experienced. I know what it's like to be homeless. And when you don't have any kids, sir, it is not easy for you to get help. And that's across the country. I have been told many a times when I was going through what I went through, well, if you had kids, we could help you. If you had kids, we could give you medical. I had to move because, one, Arizona is one of the few states that will allow you, if you are not making a certain amount of money, medical care without having children. I was paying for my medical out of pocket. I was paying for my mama's medical out of pocket for years. I was making, before they even made any changes, I was making $15 an hour at Macy's as a facilitator with education behind her. And I had to take that, hold on, I had to take that money and I had to divvy it up, pay rent, my car, my electricity, on and on. And I'm making what they considered, that was like 40 something, 40,000. It turned out to be something like that. And then it popped up, it went up, you know, I got a $3 raise. Woohoo! $18 an hour. Now this is early 2000s.
So do you believe where you work is a choice, or do you believe it's forced?
It's always a choice, but you choose where you work, but if you want to survive in our society, because they don't talk to people about building their own homes. They don't talk to people about buying land, especially not us. That's not taught in our schools, even to this day. So when I'm talking about change, I'm talking about change from within. You can't take things that we have been comforted into and go, okay, Black person, stop doing that. You need to do this. No, we need to replace it. So those of us who think the same, or those of us who have an idea of how you want to educate or what we should do, and then you have control of it. It happens in other communities all day long. The little stores, like, okay, for here in Arizona, you can go to different places. It be just predominantly Mexican, right? The neighborhood's Mexican, the stores are Mexican. It's all. When they make money, when they go work for somebody else, come home, they buying groceries, they buying whatever from their community. And then the money circulates. Because that's all we doing is circulating money.
Well, I'm trying to see. So if I make $250,000 a year, what percentage do you feel that I should pay in taxes of my income?
It ain't for me to say.
Say it again?
It ain't for me to say.
So you just say, whatever I'm paying, I need to pay more.
No. What I said is I don't understand how people who have the opportunity to make money in a community that is not an everyday, all day thing, that we all have opportunities like that, or if it's a large proportion of us that is making that kind of money, I don't get why it's an issue when it is said, hey, we just think you need to pay a little bit more money. Oh no, they trying to take from us. Okay. So that's why I said the people who I am speaking about, the people who I want to assess or help are people that have walked the walk of my mom, my aunts, my friends, as single mothers, single fathers, couples, but they still poor. They may be able to pay their bills, but they can't do nothing else. They may be able to, they may have a little piece of car over here, because you forget about the car note too, because you know, they make cars every year. You ain't selling all them cars. And the government has given car companies plenty of money over the years. But they make it one of the hardest things in the world to get, unless you go get a used car. So it's a game to me. It is a game that has been set up for the sucker to be the person who is at the bottom. And that's how it's always been.
So what do you think a good income for people, like what would be a good medium income for people?
I think in this country, for just a single person by themselves, you need to be making it minimum $20 an hour.
Oh, well, I think so here in Washington.
But that's to combat with inflation, rent, the fact that corporations are buying up everything that is not nailed down because they want to turn us all into renters. That's more money for them.
Well, so here I think that you start off at $22 an hour at our McDonald's, right?
Okay.
That's flipping burger. So
no,
I
it's
agree
not
with that.
just flipping burgers.
No,
it is
I
dealing
mean-
with the public. It
I
is
mean,
cleaning
I'm
up
just
after
saying-
nasty, grown,
get it,
and
but
their
I'm just saying,
children.
like,
have you ever done it
entry-level.
before, though? Have you ever worked in a restaurant before?
Yeah, I worked at
Okay.
Kroger. Yeah, I
You worked at
understand what you.
Kroger, but all I'm saying is there's a different perspective. I've been working since I was 13. I do believe I'm older than you. And the only reason I say that is because I've had several careers in my little life. And I've done a lot of work that would be considered hard labor, some easy cushy, and some that's just downright ridiculous. However,
Got you.
you know,
So
Go
well,
ahead.
I'm trying to figure out. So let's say $30. If we increase it, we kept the poverty rate. I mean, we kept the inflation rate the same, and we increase so inflation doesn't change, and we increase everybody to $30 an hour, right? That's the
it's
minimum.
gonna make everything go up.
No,
You
no,
know it.
listen to what I said.
I heard you.
We keep inflation the same, and we increase the minimum wage to 30. That means that they can't raise the cost of gas, they can't raise the cost of food, they can't raise the cost of rent, nothing. And now the minimum that you can make is $30. Do you believe that we get rid of the poverty class?
No. No, I don't.
I
Because
think
you
I think-
still have, and you again, and I'm gonna keep saying it, you still leave out large sections of the community, the disabled, the elderly. Do you know it's hard for deaf people to find jobs? So they have to take disability because companies don't hire deaf people. Did you know that?
No, I know that.
Okay.
Well, no.
You also know so
said-
elderly people, because we have ageism in this country.
I-
So there's a
I
lot
agree.
of people still out here that are in their 60s, 70s, still working because they can't afford, even though they're on Medicaid it's Medicaid. They got 50 million parts to it, and they're making these people pay out their ass for their medicine that they need to survive.
I get it. So I want to talk about the working class from 35 to 50, right?
But you can't
hold
do
on,
that.
Hold on. I get it's a reason that I want to do it.
Uh-huh.
I understand what's going on with people with disabilities. I understand the people that are older, but when we look at the
There's
working
no
class,
but though. That's what I'm saying.
but
You
I'm just
cannot
saying, what is your
separate these
solution?
people.
You
People
can
that work
separate them.
in retirement homes. Those people don't make a lot of money. People
I get
that
it, but
work,
no, I'm
do
trying.
you? I don't.
I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to understand what is the solutions.
I'm
Like if I
telling
give them
you.
more money,
It's not about giving them more money. E.
so give me the solution. What is the
It's
solution?
about building a community. It's about making affordable housing. It's about taking over our education system, our health care. Like, I don't get why that is so. That's all I'm talking about. You buy the land, you build shit. People who are talented and able to do things, you bring them in. Like, for instance, in the Native American community, even though they still have a horrible setup over there, if you work up there, if you're a teacher or a doctor or a nurse, or you start a business on their reservation, you can get free housing. I can build a house under $10,000 with all of your creature comforts. So why can't I, and this is what I'm talking about, a return on investment, because what's going to happen is this: I'm already going to get a kickback because I'll be making more than what the average person is going to be making. I already know that. But
So
instead of going and buying a yacht or buying some bull, I'm going to pour it back into the community. This is how you plan for generational wealth.
So let's say like a doctor, for example. You believe that a doctor is going to be willing to come into your community to get the benefits of having like housing?
Yes,
and
because they
different
still going
things?
to get paid to be a doctor. They're still going to get paid being a doctor because you got to have insurance. So he's going to get paid. He or she's going to get paid. They don't have to worry about insurance for doctors is extremely expensive. Extremely. So you mean to tell me that as a Black doctor or brown doctor who wants to just do what they are trained to do and not have to worry about whether they're going to make enough money, because a lot of doctors are still in residency, meaning they ain't making shit. See, these are the things that I have studied for years. It hasn't changed. And I don't mean to be combative, but it's like the conversation of you cannot separate the people who need from the people who have. That's the problem. You want to go to a nice restaurant with your money, right? You take your family to a nice restaurant.
Absolutely.
So them people that's doing them basic jobs, standing on their feet, bringing that food to you, dealing with hot ovens, being burnt, being cussed out, having to touch other people's nasty food or their food habits. And then we want to turn around and say, well, get a better job. Well, if everybody got a better job, you would be at home cooking your food every night.
No, I think it's my responsibility tonight. Me and my mother went out to eat. It is my responsibility to take care of them. So, for example, I believe we supposed to tip 30%, 40%.
We shouldn't even have a tipping system in this country.
We
It is
should
stupid.
have a tip. Yes, we should.
No, we shouldn't. If you
Listen.
choose, no. What I mean by that is, if you choose to tip, fine. But a person should make a living wage. That restaurant is clocking money.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
They're not making no money.
Like if you look at the margins, the restaurant industry.
That's not what I'm talking about. The restaurants that are owned by conglomerates, the majority of the restaurants in our country are usually owned by just a handful of people. I'm not talking about your mom and pop stuff. I'm talking about the restaurants we frequent, whether it's a Ruth's Chris or Applebee's. It is owned by people. They have invested into these particular things. We don't have that. We don't have a line of grocery stores. We don't have a U-Haul. We don't have education system or daycares across the country that are owned by people who have our best interest in mind, who are not going to allow our children to be abused. A lot of these people that don't want to go back into working with the public is because the public is shitty. They take for granted these people who are running this country when we sleep. And that's all I'm saying. Like, I don't get why that is so hard to comprehend. That's it. There's enough money to go around. It just has to be shifted. And that's it. I don't, that's why I stay, this is why I say I'm in agriculture, manufacturing, and technology. Because those are the things that keep this country going. If there were no farms, you wouldn't be getting that steak or you wouldn't be getting that food if it wasn't companies making frozen shit. You wouldn't have it in the grocery stores. They're all ran by human beings. Somebody got to pack them, stack them, somebody got to fold them, somebody got to do all of those particular things. And we want to look down on them. Maids in hotels, bussers, whatever their job may be. We don't know why they took the job, but they should be able to live from doing it. But we have not done that yet in this country.
I think what you have to look at is, so we can't single out companies, large companies.
Why can't we? Why can't we, E?
So hold on, let me tell you why. So you telling me that we can tell large companies they must do one thing, and mom and pops companies they can do another?
Yes. Why not? Didn't you just say to me that a man that's making 60,000, that could never be you,
never me,
and you're
never.
making 600, 6 figures? There's a difference. The things you can do and the things they can do are different, right?
No, I think you look at it different. For example,
Yes,
if we look, hold
I
on.
do look at it
I got you,
differently.
but if you look at a McDonald's franchise, right? Like an individual franchise, right?
Yep.
So an individual franchise might profit, you saying, let's say 100,000, maybe 150,000 a year.
Okay,
right?
and mhm.
And so we look at that franchise and say 150,000. You saying we should increase the pay of the we should increase the pay of the workers. And what does the owner get for his investment
I
after
don't
that?
know. There's no force in you getting no franchise. That's a choice.
But you see how your system is: the person who invests their money, the person who did all the things to make sure that all these people.
But that does
didn't-
not. No, wait, hold on. Stop. If you buying a franchise, you know that you got to have way more than $150,000 in your pocket buying a franchise from McDonald's.
No, but we're talking about the profits. See, I'm talking about the profits of that store.
But you're talking about the profits, and my thing is this: regardless, you buy that franchise, right? If you don't want to pay nobody, run it yourself. But you can't. You need people. This ties into the argument of immigration. Are you gonna go pick lobster, sir? Would you go do that?
Would I go do what?
Would you go and go get lobster? Like go on a ship and be on the ship to pick lobsters all day?
Yeah, if it was my lobsters. You mean for other people?
Yes, for other
Oh
people.
no,
Come on, stop
no,
playing with me. Don't do that.
no. I'm not gonna do that. Why would I do that?
Oh, exactly. Do you eat lobster?
No.
Okay. Do you know anybody who does?
Yep, my mama. She loves
Okay.
some lobster.
Okay. Where does it come from? Because y'all not getting it yourself.
No, I'm pretty sure somebody out there on the ship picking it.
Yeah. That's hard work.
But that's still the thing is,
That's hard work.
why penalize the person?
I'm not
that
penalizing anybody. I'm
that
saying,
is, like, if he don't make no profit,
and that's
like,
my problem with this country and everyone's association with money. Now, you want to say to me, oh, well, money isn't everything, but you are proving my point.
I never said money is not everything. That was Simon.
Well, my
I say
bad.
money,
What you
money
said
is everything.
was,
Money's
let me,
everything.
yeah. But again, it is not the money itself. It is the human beings who are in front and behind it. That's
get it.
the people that are not being taken care of in this country. And no matter what you say, E, I can prove to you a million times over that it is not true. People are out here struggling, sir. They are out here struggling. And it ain't because, they stupid or they don't lack ambition and, there's jobs. Okay, that's fine. The job may be there. But if you don't have a vehicle, if there's no bus line, if you don't have somebody to watch your kids, because we're talking about a large portion of our community have children. It's back to school. But these people are still going to work at Rallies, Checkers, all these different places that we may or may not frequent, the grocery store. the cashiers. That is hard work. You are standing on your feet for 8, maybe even 10 hours a day. They don't let these folks sit down. I don't get why. Aldi's does it. But it's all about cost effectiveness. And then they throw down them little pallets. And then they're like, oh, you can stand there even longer. You can't sit down. You can't take a break. You can't rest. You cannot be human. I know, because I've worked in these jobs before.
But the thing is, if I post a position and I say that I'm paying $18 because that is what it's
your
it says.
$18 is not me having a bad back for the rest of my life.
I get it, but listen.
No, you don't. You keep wanting
Hold
this. You
on.
keep saying, I get it, but no, this is just reality.
No, but the point that I'm making is, if I post a job for $18, a person shouldn't, if they feel like that is beneath them, they shouldn't apply for that job. But see, in business, we run an analysis. Like, we understand, like in COVID, let me give you an example. When COVID happened, we paid our employees throughout that, even though they
A lot of places did.
money.
A lot of places did that.
I know, but I'm saying we had to have enough money to pay them because we didn't get a bailout from our company. So
okay, that's between you and the government.
I get that, but so the point that I'm saying is that we are assessing for problems, things that's coming in, reinvesting, because as our company grow, we can bring on more employees. And it sounds like in your system, our company can't grow because you want us
I didn't
to
say that, but see, that's what I'm saying. The system is taking care of the human beings who are doing the work for you to keep the business growing. You still need human bodies, sir. You need humans to buy your products. You need humans to work for you. And that's it. All I'm talking about is taking care of those people. And that is just all bending your brain. And I don't get it.
No, I'm saying I am taking care of these people if I pay them $18 an hour.
You're
They
paying them
have a choice.
$18 an hour does not mean you taking care of them. That means
No.
you are giving a wage that you feel is sufficient and will keep things afloat for your company. That's what you're doing. You just said you're running an analysis. So before the human contact comes into play, you're looking at what you can and cannot spend, how much it will cost you, a 5-year forecast. I get it.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
if I go out
talking
of
about,
business-
but see, here's the thing. My system, my business, my abilities is a different thing because I'm working from the bottom up. I'm working with the people who don't have nothing. I'm working with felons who can't get jobs and sometimes can't get places to stay. And every felony don't mean that you're doing something horrible. You might have got busted for drugs. You might have got busted for doing something. Maybe you want to change your life. But if there's no opportunity, you're going to go back to doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm talking about women who cannot get out of bad relationships or bad situationships because they have no money and nowhere to go. I'm talking about elderly people who have no one looking after them. So they basically are stuck in their houses. They don't have any access to fruits and vegetables. They don't have no access to anybody because ain't nobody going to see Pop. We don't take care of our elders. We barely take care of our kids in this country. We're sending them to school or daycare. And if they don't go there, then we sending them, we got them in different sports and so on. And that costs, it's not free. Pads, the whole thing, a park in your city, whatever you want in your neighborhood, it costs. I'm talking about people who want to build with their hands, people who are carpenters and welders who can't find jobs. Like, that's what I don't get. It's almost like we want to negate those people and we cannot continue to do that.
So as a business coach, I have seen companies come around and do all the things that you said, and they typically go out of business pretty fast.
No, you have not. You have not seen me
I didn't see
on
you.
and I'm talking about me though.
I'm not
Y'all,
talking about you.
But
I'm
I
talking
am.
about
I'm talking
when
about
you
me.
when you say
You
pay a
said
fair
what
wage.
I'm saying. You said what I'm saying in my system you couldn't grow as a business. Is that not what you said?
That's not what I said.
Okay, E, you said in my system, your business would not grow. Is
No, I
that
did
not what you
not.
said?
No, listen, let me
What
repeat
you
it for
say
you.
then?
I said, as a business coach, I have seen companies come and try to pay a livable wage and go out of business
What kind of
in 2
business
years.
was it though, E?
I mean, all kinds. Like I have coached
You
thousands.
saw a business like mine, right?
No, I'm not talking about you. You keep trying to personalize. This have
It
nothing to do
is.
with
You're
you.
on my panel. It does have to do with it. What is you talking about? What? No, I'm
No,
not playing this game with you,
we
sir.
are talking about
We are
companies
talking about
because
the
you're not
human beings.
you're
You
not
are
talking
talking
about
about
corporate. Listen, you're not
physical.
talking
Yes,
about corporate.
I am.
I'm
I
just telling.
come from a corporate background. I know this. I understand how they look at us. It is not like human beings. If a company will allow a person to die in their warehouse, you don't look at us as human beings.
Okay, so say for example that McDonald's come to a point that they want to give a 25% raise to all the employees across the board, right?
Yeah, okay.
They would not be able to sustain their business
Well,
model.
that's them.
See, but that's the point. It's like
I don't care. There's a million fast food places. I do not care.
but let's say that. So McDonald's go down. Wendy's increase theirs by 20%. They don't sustain
Okay.
their business models. They go out. And eventually all the
Oh
companies go
well,
out of
they all
business.
need to go out of business because they do a detriment to the community.
All right. And so then we say, cool. Then we look at the grocery stores, right? Grocery stores is on a 1% margin. For them to increase.
Stop, E. No. You see, what you want to do is play the semantics game. Meaning,
No,
you want to go, well, what if this happens? Or what? No, I'm not what if.
I'm not
I'm
saying what
talking
if.
about, yes,
I'm
you
saying
did. You
that,
said
what I'm saying is that
if
grocery stores are not profitable. We know this. This is
that's their choice to not be profitable because they got all that shit in there and knowing damn well that they can't sell it all. They have grocery stores that's selling the same stuff. One store is costing more. One store is costing less. So one store is getting it from Mexico. One store is getting it from Canada. Like, come on. We don't make anything in this country.
But listen, I want to go down. The thing is, if I don't have the money to pay these people, where's the money coming from?
Oh God, that's not what you said. Come on, sir.
No, you didn't let me finish.
No, you keep because you keep trying to. I don't get. If you're trying to understand me, then you wouldn't keep asking me questions like this. Because for you, it is a different perspective of life. You have been blessed. You are in a great position in your life, and I am thankful for that. I like to know that Black people are successful out here and can take care of themselves and their families. But there is not enough of us out here that we can just take control of our community as of yet. So if that's the case, we start with the people who need the most help, and those are the people who are making hourly wage. Those are the people who don't have insurance. They make too much money to qualify for state insurance, and they don't make enough money to pay for their own insurance. They got to send their kids to school on public lunches because they can't afford to pay for lunches and have dinner on the plate. These are the people I'm talking about, E.
Well, like we align with, I believe that everybody should have health care, right? I don't think the amount of money you should.
Health care.
Huh?
Good health care, not just health care. Good health care.
Okay, good health care. Okay, cool. Now you're arguing semantics.
No, I'm saying no because healthcare is shitty in this country. It should be better.
Okay, but I don't want. I get that.
I know you don't want to do that. I know you don't.
I think everybody should. I'm going to even change. I think everybody should have great health care. How about that? Let's
whatever
get past
you want to
that.
say, sir. Go ahead.
I think you just want to argue with me tonight. But
no,
everybody
I don't want to argue with you. I feel the way I feel about what I say. I'm a passionate person. I'm not going to change for nobody. If you think I'm
not asking you to change,
then I apologize, but I am not arguing with you, sir. Because there's
So
nothing
I
to argue.
think. Hold on, listen. I think everybody should have great health care, but I do think that you should get paid for what the job is worth. And
But you don't know what everyone has a different perspective of what they think is pleasing to them. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. We have to work, E. Now, whether it's through going to college or whether it's through internships or whether it's through welding or carpentry, we have to work because there's nothing else to do. For you to pay your rent, your mortgage, your vehicle, take care of yourself, your children, or people who live in with you. Come on. This is a place that still says they want a nation of workers, not thinkers. They think, no, you're thinking too much. No, you worried about it. No, you should worry about you. You can't worry about nobody else. You can't worry about yourself. That's your brain, not mine. That's all I'm saying. Rich to you is different to another person. And then you have similar people who are just like you, right? People that you work with, people that you know that are on the same thing.
I get what you're saying. I just think it's a lot of people trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like they're spending money.
Who are these people? There's a sector of everyone in every culture who has that idea. That is not all Black people, and we need to stop it.
Oh, come on now. Don't be disingenuous.
No, I'm not being
I never
disingenuous.
said all.
I just wish we could throw that argument away. You know. So I don't get why we even have to say it. You know that there is sections of people who are like that.
I think it's more than what we think in the Black community.
I know what it is. I've looked, I've gone, I've talked to people. I know what it is. Like I said, I'm not just up here talking shit. I have been studying this for years. And all the knowledge that I have gained over the years of working in the public, living, traveling across this country, it is what it is that it is not what y'all think it is. Everybody is not the same. There are a lot of people out here struggling and they need help.
So
if you help the society and you help those who want it and they're going to turn it and do what they need to do with it, you have more viable people. Now you have more people fighting to be better in this way or that way. Maybe they just need a little bit of money so they can go to nail school. Maybe they just need a little bit of gas money so they can get to work every day. Maybe their car don't work, but they don't have enough money to buy another one. Like, we don't own anything here. We don't make nothing, not even the clothes you are wearing on your back, the sheets that you pull up on your body. They don't. Nobody is making that here.
So do you believe like Black people should be having their own clothes factory and making their own clothes?
Yes. Yes, I do. That is my goal. I used to make dresses. So I understand the breakdown of what needs to be done from the different things you can do. You can grow hemp, you can grow jute, you can use recycled bananas. There are so many things that you could do and turn into affordable clothes. A lot of our children have allergies to the different like washing powders and things like that. But if you bring out a washing powder that's going to be better for my skin, but it costs $10 and I ain't got that, so I got to buy Purex that's $3.99.
So
we don't like what is our replacement to these things?
So I think factory work is very extreme. Like it's like one of the hardest jobs out there. So do you believe that the people that's working in these factories should be paid like $40-$50?
I think they should be paid because we're using their bodies for labor.
So, but how do the clothes stay affordable if your overhead is really high?
Why would my overhead be high?
Because your labor itself is high.
See, you want to put me, I'm not doing it the traditional way of business. And that's what you want to put me in that box. It's not the same. I'm doing the work. I'm starting the work. I'm building my greenhouse. I will be in there planting, and a handful of folks that believe in my vision. We're going to start small and grow it properly. Then you build the manufacturing piece. You can manufacture without killing somebody or breaking their back. There's ways to do this. Other countries, I've studied other countries and how they do their manufacturing. They're human beings too. They just happen to live somewhere else. Finland was able to almost eradicate homelessness in their country. Yes, Is it a smaller amount of people? Okay, but but it can work. But see, what happens is folks want to say or put it in the same business model. Even the business model you talking about, people done failed. So obviously there are flaws. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm saying, do you think homeless is a choice?
No, I don't. I don't think that people want to be homeless the majority of the time. I think it's circumstances.
So since I deal with the homeless on a daily basis, I would say that a lot of people choose to be homeless.
Who is a lot of people, E? Do you have a percentage? Have you ever taken a survey? Have you and your business people gotten together and surveyed the folks around you? We don't even own that either, by the way. We don't even take stock in real information or even a system of taking real information, tangible information, so that we can stop saying, oh, well, I think it's this and this. No one has any real numbers because we don't know. I'm basing it off of what I've seen. I'm basing it off of where I've been. Being that I have been homeless, I know what that's like. And I did not choose to be homeless. My health got in my way. I was always a worker. Always. I had 401k. I had a bank account for my medical. I was doing all the things that they say that you're supposed to do. But when it got tough and I couldn't do this shit no more, there was no one there. Nobody. So it was either now I got to go bothering folk. I got to go asking people for help, which I did not want to do. All I wanted to do was get back on my feet. So, and I have known people who also, they don't have the money. You got to have money to move into an apartment. You need furniture. Yeah, they may give you a housing voucher. They might even give you a couch or two. But it doesn't go the same in every state, in every county, because again, states govern themselves. They take federal dollars, but they govern themselves.
Well, I'm just speaking from I speak with 50 to 100 homeless people a day in my business. And when I say choose to be homeless, there's systems in place here in Washington. I only can talk for Washington. We have system in places where we have housing, shelters, different things in place that people have willingly chose, hey, I don't want to.
And that's their choice, though, E. That doesn't
that's
mean everybody is like that.
I'm not saying everybody. I said
but you're making it sound like it's a large portion of people who choose to be homeless. And just because you don't talk to 50 to 100 people a day, that's your city. That's your experience. I bet you can find someone else who lives in the same city that you do that works with homeless people that'll probably give you a different perspective. It is all in perspective. And I can't argue that with you. That's you. That's your perspective of life. It's not mine.
But you just gave me your perspective. So
yeah, that's all we're doing is giving each other perspectives. That's it.
So what it really comes down to is I want to say that this is a great conversation. I appreciate giving me some insight on the chocolate brain. That's what I like to call it, the chocolate brain. I actually enjoyed this conversation because it gave me your perspective on how you see those things. But I do have to go to work in the morning.
Oh, well, thank you anyway for giving us your time. I appreciate you, E. You know that.
I appreciate it. My last question that I ask you is this right here. If you had the opportunity to be able to get the money you need, right, to be able to start your community the way that you want it to, what is the dollar amount that you think that you need to make this thing happen?
I would say to start a small community, it's gonna probably run me about $100 grand just to start, and that is because of the way I'm building. Because it won't the majority of the money would go to the, sewer, trash, the permits, those type of things. The building cost is way under. Like I could build at least 30 2-bedroom, two bath homes, and have a start small like that, and grow from there. Buying the land, I know that right now, for me to have the growth or the type of city, I need about 3,000 acres of property, which is available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it comes down to where you decide. I know
to put
you
the money. Yeah.
in the place you want to put it in, because like
What
here in
yeah, what,
Washington, the
hmm
land is very expensive in Washington.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We looked. I have a friend who's in Oregon. Her and I, because she wants to create a chocolate earth in Oregon. So what we were looking at was Southern Oregon, where it is uh, empty, not a
hmm
lot of not a lot of people, right?
hmm
Um, and so they have 10 plus acres for, like 5-6 grand right now,
Oh, that's good.
because nobody is moving out because they can't afford to move out either. So it's
hmm
not like, you know what I mean? So for me, like right now, I'm thankful I have one investor. I am just putting together my half of it. So I have to come up with, we've had some donations already, which I'm blessed. I'm thankful. The total is coming out to be 2,500. That's the part I got to come up with.
hmm
So I'm doing everything I can to make that happen, so that we can get this popping before the end of the month, which would be ideal. And that's just the acre of property, 6,000 square feet townhomes, and a small, like 4-bedroom, 2-bath cabin. And
hmm
that's where we're going to start.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I know. So we're in the process of buying land. We want to build a tiny home community for veterans.
Yeah.
That's our goal. So we got the VA involved. So I understand you can build a lot cheap. You can build cheap, especially if you have the right builder. Um,
We're building with earth. Like, then that is
the
the,
cheap.
the yeah, the cheapest but most effective way to build,
hmm
because it's weatherproof. If something catches fire, the house isn't going to burn down. Insulation, no termites, no, but you can make it look like how you want on the outside. But on the
hmm
inside, you have that warmth. You have, when the sun is high, it's gonna suck all that in, and then it'll pull it out, push it out in the evening as cool weather. I mean, as
hmm
you know, so you knowing that and studying that, to me, I can see a whole city being built like that.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk more. I'm curious about the earth
Definitely. Yeah.
because we're going a different route. But if I can, because
All you
each
got to
like
find out is, what does your county require
mm,
for building material? If there is, you could Google that. If there is a requirement from like the building inspector or whatever, like in Mississippi, the rule, the more rule you go, you can build how you want to build.
mhm.
And that's why I said, if we build out first and come back in, then we'll have the money to take care of the inner cities. Because everybody's not going to migrate,
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah. I think that was the hardest part when we was looking for building a tiny home community for homeless veterans. Getting them to move where we can have land at has been our biggest challenge.
Hmm.
So the VA want us to. So for the VA to invest, they want us to have. I think it's like 45 people committed to it, like committed to the move or to committed to the project that they're going to be there, but
Oh, to live?
to live, right?
Well,
So
you know that there is a way that you can do that. What you can do is start with your applications. You can do that online. You can work with, Veterans Affairs, or you can work with like the local VFW, and go that route where people can go and sign up, or they can apply, and then you have those 45 people.
Well,
You'll
the
probably get
problem,
way more than that.
but I think the problem that we're running into is that the land that we bought is not on the bus line. Like, it's not like, oh, you could just hop on the bus and go back to town.
How far is the bus from the land?
I would say like 25 miles.
Okay, so here's my suggestion, and then I know you got to go to bed. Because I was looking at the same thing as well. Because I was like, wait a minute, if I buy land that's further out, then someone in that community that's able, a couple of people who are in the community who are able to drive, just get a few of those like little small buses, and that's also transportation. The government will kick you back for that because you're providing transportation to the bus stop, or to, like, you do, let's say everybody got a doctor's appointment. Okay, well, this particular person can do it one day and that person can do it another. Now you've got in-house transportation. And I'll just throw that out to you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. Maybe try to get some bus drivers, because how we got it set up is like we're going to hire the veterans to do the security and the cleanup, and then we could pay them to work in their own community. I know that might sound crazy.
No, that's the point. To live, play, and work in your community.
So, but this is a good conversation. I definitely, I do like the movement that you're going and how you want to accomplish it. Now, do I think you should take my money? I don't know about that, but
unless you want to give it to me, give it to me all day long, I'll take your money.
I mean, when I say take my money, I'm talking about you telling the government to take my money.
I ain't telling the government nothing, sir. I am going to be utilizing, I think, for the wealthy, yes. And that's not you.
Okay. Well, I want to say, tell me the line. What do I need? Do I need to make under 349,000? I want to stay.
When you start making $1 million a year, you need to pay your fair share. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but so you talking about when my company make $1 million a year, or when I personally make $1 million a year?
Well, they're gonna tax you either way. So.
Well, no.
Yeah. They're gonna tax you. Whether it's a lot or a little bit, you're still gonna get taxed. I'm talking about who I'm speaking to, E, before you go.
You talking about them trillionaires.
Right. I'm talking about the players. I'm talking about the lobby money. I'm talking about the millions and millions of dollars that a company can spread out for, whether it's a Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, whatever. They can drop hundreds of thousands of dollars in different campaigns because they want the type of person that's going to be in their best interest. Those companies do not pay taxes the way that they should. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the rich,
Tesla,
the founding bullshit people. Like, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because again, if people was doing people right, we wouldn't have this USDA lawsuit that just popped. That's why now all of a sudden they trying to give money away to black farmers. Y'all know what y'all did. The government gave them people bad seeds on purpose to fuck up their land. And now you think, oh, we're gonna all give you, we're gonna give y'all some money, okay? It's all right now. It's okay. Go ahead now.
I'll take it though.
Yeah, you take it. Take it. It's just what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's So there you go.
Good,
it ain't you. I ain't after your money. Thank you, sir.
I'll just say, because usually when laws change, it doesn't never affect the higher upper class.
And that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it's like when we lobby for laws, the lower upper class, the guy who just might start making 200,000, the guy who's just making 100.
But we ain't talking about him though.
I know, but that's what the Democrats do. They don't go after the guy who gave them $85 million.
I didn't say that I agree with where they're trying to go. What I said was those who are out here on that multiple $1 million, multiple $1 billion, multiple $1 trillion, and you're getting tax breaks that I, as a person working regular hourly money, I would never be allowed to do on my taxes. And we know firsthand now that this is what has gone on for centuries, since the tax system came into place all the way over there in Europe, and they brought it all the way over here. Yes.
Well, you know, and I encourage people. So everybody thought I was crazy. I spent like, I think it was $18,000. We took a tax class and we learned it. Like, I know a lot of people want to change it, but learn it and play the game.
Exactly. Because see, I got into it because of my sister. She used to do the tax, she would work and do taxes every year. But too, because of having my own little small businesses over the years, yes, it is incumbent upon you to learn. Now, I am self-educated because I didn't have $18,000 to pay for the class. But what I did was go and learn and ask and try to get as much information that way as possible. And because there's ways to do it.
So do you believe all Black people should have a business based on what you know?
No, I don't. Because again, the only thing that separates humans are culture and color. Traits are traits. If you have the ability to multitask, deal with the public, be personable, run your business, pay your taxes, be on top of things, everybody ain't built for that life. Just I
just want to tell Lady, if he got a whole bunch of money, he's homeless. You just made my point that it's a choice. And I appreciate y'all guys. Have a good night. Thank you for having me tonight.
One person, don't try that. Don't do that on my show. Don't do that. Bye. Good night. Child, what in the holy banana chip? What's up, ladies? Thank y'all so much for keeping my chat popping. I've been reading what y'all was saying. Yeah. Hello, Prince Hakeem. See, I forget a lot of y'all on the East Coast. I'm out here on the West Coast. It's still kind of late though. It's getting here. I still want to review this. So I want to do a part 2 for real. Because I think it is important. Hey, Tyrone, welcome. Before I go anywhere, if anybody want to hit the link and come up, say your piece. I know, it's 3 a.m. But yeah, I'm up. I'm a woman on a mission, son. You see my freedom hair, I'm ready. Like, what? I'm here for the fight, yo. That's the only way it's gonna happen. That's it, right? Like, to one of the women who have inspired me along this journey, and I say this in all seriousness. I work better at night. That sounds crazy, but but I am. For the type of change I would like to see happen, we have to do it on every level. The economic, the social, and it is a spiritual as well. Money is a part of the equation because that's what our society is built on. It's built on wealth. Whether it's stolen, whether it's given, no matter, it's built on that. I know. I appreciate you, lady. I can't believe it, but I appreciate y'all coming. I feel really proud. I've had a consistency of people come in, people to come up and talk. So I'm going to let y'all go to sleep. You say I'm still a trapper by heart. I love y'all back. I cannot wait for the next phase of this journey once it's popping off. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. I appreciate the support, no matter what size the room. I just do. That's just me. So I am going to let you Black folks go to sleep, get some rest, much love. Hug the people you care for. Love them, hold them tight. Okay? Because we're not promised tomorrow. And so yes, all hands on deck, baby. Because I'm telling you, me and what's her name? The lady that be showing up all of the pow-pows in her outfit. I got a cute outfit ready. Like I got the cutest farmer ensembles. I'm gonna be rocking for y'all. Like, ooh, but like, you got to be mean in green. Prince Hakeem, you are welcome. So now my name is Jill Scott now, huh? Okay. Holler at her though. Tell her I'm gonna have to tag her. Like, listen, let's take a long walk around the park after dark. Now I'm just playing, but I don't. I was asked why you care so much. I don't know. It's just me as a person. I always have, always fighting for the underdog, right? And sometimes you get bit, and sometimes you walk away feeling you don't know who's watching, right? And it's about who you are when nobody's watching. And that's important to me. Yes, I'm gonna do a game. I'll be a lot earlier, so I'm gonna do a game on Sunday. And lady, I'm also looking to how I could do this karaoke on Saturday. If not, I'm just gonna do two games, like a game on Saturday and a game on Sunday. I did find, and thank you to Prince Hakeem. Y'all gotta check it out. We played spades on here. That worked out. There's another website I found that the game might look a little better. So I want to try that. I want to do that spades. A spades tournament, I think, will be bomb. Like, I think that will rock. So I'm trying, look, people can say, however, this is just me, man. I want to have fun. Life is so short. I'm so tired of arguing with folks. And people think I'll be arguing with you. I ain't arguing with you. Yeah, I ain't arguing with you. I'm just passionate, right? Like, I feel it when I'm saying it. It be coming from the bottom of my soul almost. Like, I have to catch myself because I'm just like, what is you talking about? But, I was really into politics growing up, and I used to want to run for office. And I was young. I was a teenager, and I remember my mom going, this ain't the time, because they'll do something to you. Because what you're talking about, they don't want to hear that right now. And what I realized is I understood her concern for me. However, that feeling hasn't changed for me. I don't know if I would ever run for office, but I do want to do as much as I can to better my community. And that, when I say that, there's so many layers to that. Like, right. Stop trying to be a Momo here. Right. Like, don't bring your negativity over here. But there's nothing wrong with doing right by people and still making a profit, still having a good product. It's just like being a good person in whatever your definition of that is. But I'm gonna keep fighting because that's all I got, right? And also too, it also will give me the opportunity to utilize all that I have learned over the years, all that I have done over the years, and take it and turn it into something good. Turn it into something relatable. Turn it into something that people can feel like finally Good night, Lotus. Thank you for coming in, sweetheart. Much love to you. Good night. Okay, I'm still running my mouth. Okay, Black folk, young and old, and if you're not Black, that's okay too. Thank you for coming in. You know, I love all my peoples. Good night, you guys. Stay blessed. Have a good day. And we'll do this again. I promise. I'll be back. All right. Good night.